Welcome, Ice King. Enjoy your chocolate. Unfortunately, the beatings have also increased. I just realized that there's a gruesome murder photo in that album collection there. Well, that's what I get for listening to Underground. Welcome back, Tisriel. Just gonna wait just 3 more minutes and we're gonna get started here, folks. Well, Tisriel, I'm not surprised. This was inevitable. Welcome back, Strategy Member. All right, 1 more minute, folks. Ice King actually beat you to it. It's all good.
Like this, biatch.
I appreciate the enthusiasm. All right. I doubt I'll have time. Simply Steve back in this motherfucker. Actually. All right, I think we got enough folks here. We're gonna start off with this right here. Saw this on Reddit. It's from the movie V from Vendetta.
There's so much chaos. Someone will do something stupid. And when they do, things will turn nasty.
Rioters were arrested in Brixton.
And then Sutler will be forced to do the only thing he knows how to do. At which point, all V needs to do is keep his word. And then...
This movie is so incredibly dumb. Welcome to the fucking show. How you doing? I'm Abandoned Nihilism. This is the News Underground. That was a clip from the movie V from Vendetta. A pretty stupid movie. But, you know, just wanted to point out you know, it's not real life. They got, you know, they're showing one ICE agent being surrounded, or, you know, one tyrannical agent. And the whole idea that one killing. Unfortunately, Davey is correct. U.S. citizens get killed every week, at least, by cops. Americans have grown apathetic to it. It could be a George Floyd moment. It could very easily fizzle into nothing. But anyway, just wanted to point out how stupid this movie is, right? So, one guy with no backup, right? What's up with the vendetta guy? What are you spending how many hours did you spend putting this fucking dominoes thing together? You just hanging out down there for fucking 12 hours lining up dominoes? Whatever. With your little logo. It's just a very dumb movie, but we're living in a time where some of it rings true. I thought we would start off with this. Took me 3 hours. Okay, 3 hours, not 12. I stand corrected. But yeah, I thought we would start with this LBC here. I'm also, seeing the chat there, I'm also equally disgusted with XQC and Asmongold and all the Twitter fucks that are, justifying this. The same thing, justified. You got Asmongold saying, R.I.P. Bozo. You got Kristi Noem. I'm sorry, not Kristi Noem, but the other cosmetic surgery freak, Laura Loomer, calling her a gay slur. Carpet M, fill in the blank. Donald Trump and, of course, the rest of the administration just stone cold lying. It's really something, but it's really not surprising. The reality is that this is fascism. And the longer we have a debate about the definition of fascism, the longer fascism will take advantage of our apathy, our delay. This is a fascist movement. America First is just another way to say Sieg Heil. And, of course, we're seeing the entire U.S. government now adhere to this America First rhetoric. But just like the Great Replacement theory was a replacement for, kill all the N-words or kill all the Jews, it's the same thing here with America First, right? They just they give it a different name, but it means the same thing. What America First stands for is a white Christian ethno-state similar to Israel, where people of color, if they're lucky, they're relegated to second-class citizens and are basically enslaved. Welcome back, female eunuchs. I just need to stress this. The longer we allow the bad actors who watch Nick Fuentes to slow us down with endless, meaningless debate about the definition of words, the longer we don't make the conclusion, right? Because that's what they don't want us to come to, is the conclusion. And the conclusion is that we are being taken over by force, by a fascist element. Because if you come to the conclusion that America First is fascist, that this is a fascist authoritarian movement, the conclusion is that you need to act. And they don't want that. They want to slow us down however they can with meaningless debate, whatever it takes. Because every day we're having a debate about what is and isn't fascism, and what is and isn't free speech, what isn't and isn't moral. They take another step forward. The people who defend Fuentes and America First, they don't even know that they're tools of this crypto-fascist regime. They don't know that they're, part of this. They don't get it. Some do, and those are, Stephen Miller, truly evil. A grand majority of this fascist movement, just as it always is a bunch of ignorant, useful idiots who have been convinced that they're somehow under attack, that this is a justifiable defense against what they claim is an intentional invasion. The fantasy that America was once this, great place, and the reason why it's declining is because we had the audacity to let brown people exist in our midst. Conveniently, it ignores the real problem, which is the obscenely wealthy who take advantage of us and who intentionally spread these lies very cleverly nowadays, in an effort to divide and conquer us. It's always about divide and conquer. Divide and conquer has been the tool of empire and authoritarians for hundreds of years. One of the first divide and conquer tools that was successfully used on a society was religion. And we still haven't cured ourselves of that. Divide and conquer is incredibly useful and effective because it feeds into mankind's natural inclination to not trust the people around them, into a person's natural inclination to be independent. It feeds that urge and directs those energies away from those who control us. But getting back to ICE here, this was inevitable. In fact, this is exactly what Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, Tom Hooman, Bovino, this is what they wanted. And if you recall, with the attempted invasion using the Army and National Guard of liberal states, so-called liberal states, the confrontation is the point, and we see them, immediately getting out there with the rhetoric of, we need to shut it all down, make protesting illegal, et cetera, et cetera. So let's get a recap from LBC. And What's His Nuts, Simon Marks here, does a pretty good job. He's a LBC broadcaster who lives in Washington. So he lives in the United States. Then we're going to get to so many other clips. So let's stop wasting time, get to it.
Simon Marks joins me live from Washington, D.C. Simon, I don't quite know what question to ask first, so perhaps I'll just be quiet and let you speak for a while.
Well, James, this was inevitable. There is no surprise that this has happened. The only surprise in many ways is that it didn't happen earlier. Donald Trump has unleashed on this country a military force of masked thugs who have been taking to America's streets. In many instances, 9 separate instances previously, they have shot at people, shooting first and then evading questions later. This is the creation of essentially a police state here. This has been going on for weeks. There was
I'm reading all your comments, by the way, so thank you so much for participating in the chat.
Always going to be a tragedy. There was always going to be a flashpoint. But who among us would have imagined it would take place 4 blocks from where George Floyd was murdered by police, an unarmed black man murdered by police in Minneapolis 5 years ago. This is an astonishing moment for the United States, and let me also say, for our own government. If we in the UK were witnessing these events on the streets of countries in the global south, we would be intervening and condemning them. The notion that yesterday we saw, I think, David Lammy present somewhere here in the United States saying how excited he was for Britain and the UK to come together to mark America's 250th birthday later this year, while this kind of thing is taking place on the streets of American cities, beggars belief. And, you know, when you see what Donald Trump said on his social media platform last night, when you hear Kristi Noem, a woman who is only lying whenever she moves her lips, when you see her saying that Nicole Good was a domestic terrorist, it is the beginning of an effort to rewrite the events that took place in Minneapolis yesterday so that they don't have to do in 5 years' time what they did this week to the White House website relating to the events of January the 6th, 2021, the deadly uprising on Capitol Hill, and quite literally rewrite history and lie about what took place in this city on that day. It's all tied together with Venezuela, with Greenland, with the unrestrained, untrammeled desire of this president to be a tough guy, strong man. And the country, I think, is facing a real challenge now with trying to see what, if anything, can be done to stop these ICE agents and Customs and Border Patrol agents from going all over the country and terrorizing and now killing innocent people.
With impunity. And I mean, that is the point. Even now, it would not be too late to say this character will be apprehended and investigated using the full force of federal law. We know that they won't, but that's the point, isn't it? It's I mean, the lie is an invitation in many ways. It's an endorsement of impunity that January the 6th made inevitable and inarguable, but which now arrives squarely at the front of 2026.
Yes, I mean, the impunity that they have, I have to say, when one digs into it, you discover once again is one of these issues that we've all sort of assumed that these federal agents are immune from prosecution, for example, by the local police in Minneapolis, although it's not actually yet been constitutionally tested, and certainly Governor J.B. Pritzker in Illinois has authorized his police forces across that state to start gathering evidence of crimes being committed by...
J.B. Pritzker hasn't done shit. He's a billionaire who is too afraid to act. He talked tough and said ICE wasn't going to be allowed to be masked illegally, that they were going to be forced to carry identification and body cameras, and he hasn't done jack shit. In fact, there's dozens of videos I've seen now of J.B. Pritzker's police working hand in hand with ICE, happily taking orders from ICE, allowing career police officers to be, have orders barked at them from, ICE agents that were, just deputized minutes ago with about 7 seconds worth of training. The police seem absolutely giddy, absolutely stoked to work with ICE. The police forces across the nation have always been eager for a fascistic authoritarian movement, and nobody is more interested in that than the police unions themselves, who believe police officers should be allowed to kill extrajudiciously without any accountability whatsoever. Police unions believe, in the United States, police unions believe that that cops should be allowed to rape, murder, and steal without a shred of accountability or transparency. And if you don't believe me, look into it. It will shock you. The warrior cop mentality. It doesn't surprise me one bit. But what is extra shameful is J.B. Pritzker getting in front of a camera and talking tough, thinking that his fat ass is going to run for president, because that's what we need. Another pampered billionaire to pretend he's a progressive, to use the language of progressivism and social justice, to sit his fat ass in the seat of power and do absolutely fucking nothing. A fatter version of Joe Biden, basically. J.B. Pritzker with more money. He should be ashamed of himself. He's doing investigations, wagging his fingers, his little fat fingers, and sending sternly worded letters to a fascist who absolutely chortles as he throws that letter in the trash and doubles down. J.B. Pritzker should be primaried and replaced with an actual progressive like Zoran Mamdani, who actually gives a shit about his state and actually gives a shit about the progressive language that he uses.
By ICE agents, because he is willing to test the notion that they enjoy federal immunity. I think it's also important to underscore, James, we had a former Secret Service officer on LBC earlier today who was arguing that all this woman needed to do, you know, she was faced by police with guns drawn, ordering her to get out of her car. She just needed to get out of her car. I mean...
Right, and we're seeing Saagar Enginetti, of course, line right up to bootlick this narrative. You know, she just comply. You got multiple people shouting contradictory orders at you. You know, reaching into your car, and then you got this individual drawing a gun before the vehicle is even moving forward, literally leaning over to make sure that he scores a headshot. You know, once again, Americans are expected to be calm, cool, and collected. And law enforcement is allowed to be raving lunatics, you know, and this whole idea that you would shoot somebody in a vehicle to stop the vehicle is totally ridiculous, because the moment he pulled the trigger, she was dead. The human body does what the human body does, jerked up, muscles tensed, the accelerator was pressed. She was already turning to the right, so that's why the vehicle avoided him. But you know, as we've seen many times before, police are allowed to put themselves in direct danger, to escalate a situation, and it's up to the citizen to de-escalate the situation or face deadly violence. Saagar Enginetti, once again, should be fucking ashamed of himself. This is the same individual that said children being forced to wear masks during a deadly viral outbreak called COVID is more dangerous and more psychologically damaging than the number one killer of children, guns. Literally made the argument that it's more damaging for a child to wear a mask during a virus outbreak than to do something about guns. Saagar Enginetti was making the case that there's literally nothing that we can do. We should embrace gun anarchy, that we should, it's just the new normal, that our children, that a certain amount of children are going to die through brutal gun violence, and that this is the cost of his so-called freedom. I'd also like to point out that Saagar Enginetti is a brown man who thinks, who's a pick-me, who thinks he's going to be somehow given leniency. Stephen Miller thinks he's scum. And Saagar Enginetti happily, eagerly licks Stephen Miller's boots. I can't think of a more pathetic human being right now than Saagar Enginetti, because he's not a complete uneducated moron like Asmongold Gold, who just does what he's fucking told, or Joe Rogan. He knows exactly the kind of narrative that he's pushing. Doesn't seem to have a problem with bootlicking a bunch of racists that wouldn't spit on him if he was on fire. And if you want a perfect example, go ahead and take a look at Vivek Ramaswamy, who's trying everything he can to say, hey, I love this fascist movement and this is great. And, go hard. And, Ann Coulter literally telling him to his face, oh, I would never vote for you because your skin color. Welcome back, Jester. Chilling Jazz. The FBI, I'm going to report on this if I can get to it. The FBI has officially taken over the investigation, so the cover-up is in full swing. They've superseded the Minneapolis police, who were supposed to be arresting this. They should have been arrested the person right then and there, not allowing him to escape. To pretend like he's injured, going to the hospital. Probably had to do some crying because he wasn't prepared to kill an innocent woman. He thought he was. He thought he was Billy Badass. But then, seeing the bullet that you just fired entered into a woman's skull and seeing her skull explode all over the vehicle, and there's a picture in the Discord if you'd like to see what that looks like. That can affect everybody, especially military cosplayers who, like I said, they think they're Billy Badass, when in reality they're children. They have the mentality of children. So, like when you see a child, playing with something fragile and beating it and running it around, and then it finally breaks, they start crying. Same situation with him, with that person. So I'm sure in the SUV that he ran into, he was crying his little eyes out. No, bro, no, he's self-defense. Donald Trump will have your back, man. Oh, I fucking killed her, man. I fucking killed her. So you can imagine. So the police should have arrested him right then and there. But now that the FBI is taking over, the cover-up is in place. What they usually do is delay, wait until everything dies down. 6 to 8 months later, we will get a small blip in the news that will barely cover it, that he's been found innocent of all charges. And, that's how it goes.
I think it is really important to underscore.
Just so that you know,
these people,
hang on, you may not know this. I don't know how he ended up on LBC, but he's also a contributor to Newsmax, which probably gives you an idea of his credentials and caliber.
Well, the point to underscore is that in communities all over the country...
Welcome back, Seneca. And, of course, the reason for that response is that they were ready for this. This is what they wanted. In fact, the speculation is that Bovino was told, escalate. We want this situation to happen. As soon as they were done murdering this woman, they headed on over to a high school to try and snag students or staff who were leaving high school. So it was a clear intentional escalation.
We have witnessed masked ICE agents refusing to identify themselves, dragging people out of vehicles.
That's right, Jester. They do that reflexively, the media. Of course, they're owned by right-wing oligarchs, but they just naturally cover up law enforcement murders just reflexively.
People are genuinely, even American citizens.
Seneca, I don't think the killing was part of the plan, but the killing is a happy accident. Right. The escalation was intentional. They increased the troop count, I think, by 2,000 trained, 5-second trained ICE children, who were just 15 seconds ago Proud Boys. So they increased the amount of fat cosplayers. I think by it was 2,000 or something like that, several thousand. And they had scheduled several targets that they stayed on course for. They didn't back off one iota. Bovino was both. He started his day with going to the murder, smiling and thumbs up and everything. You guys are doing great. And then he headed on over to the high school with a tear gas canister in hand.
Like Nicole Good, genuinely concerned that they themselves might be deported. While Kristi Noem denies American citizens have been deported, they have been. Just within the last 3 weeks, there was a woman born in Maryland whose lawyers furnished her birth certificate to the Department of Homeland Security, and she was still deported. So the notion that you can view these people as though they're,
So the Israel comparisons are not totally unfounded. I think it was Donald Trump himself or someone close to Donald Trump in the administration was saying that we need to treat protesters like Palestinians. Maybe it was Randy Fine.
Dixon of Dock Green and It's a Fair Cop Gov, I'll come and help you with your inquiries, is absolutely laughable. These are masked thugs, and it's so bad that last year the FBI was reportedly preparing to issue guidelines because they were concerned that in various parts of the country, people pretending to be ICE agents, masking up, gathering uniforms, driving around in unmarked cars with blacked out windows.
So just last week there was an individual, fat, no-neck individual who bought his entire ICE uniform on Amazon and was strutting around some town somewhere pretending to be an ICE agent. Who knows how many people he abused before he was caught.
Were using that as a pretext for committing crimes because they knew that ICE agents were behaving like that on the streets all over the country.
What will I want to say how is it resisted? But you know, my question is more about the media than about the politics of it. People in Trump's immediate orbit, the people with access to the Oval Office, the people who've get to interview him on a regular basis, they are part of the project. They are complicit in the lies. But what does the rest of the media do now? I mean, what is the likelihood of...
So what the media usually does in this situation, and I have seen MS Now and a few other outlets. I'm going to show you BBC and I'm going to show you New York Times, who are uncharacteristically saying that this was, that this was not self-defense by the cop, which is something that they don't usually do. But things will die down. And most importantly, they'll lie by omission. They won't follow up. They won't follow up. We saw MS Now. I mean, hell was freezing over, but we saw MS Now. Welcome back, Linux Cast. We saw MS Now covering a protest on the ground, which is something that they absolutely almost never do, unless it's a quote-unquote riot. Will they put their reporters on the ground? But they were actually covering a peaceful protest movement and actually calling it that. Don't expect that to keep up. In fact, I'm sure they're already on their way back right now. I think the protests are still going on. I'd be surprised if MS Now is even still covering it. Within days or even hours, we will see the media pivot, back to some other distraction, Venezuela, something else. Definitely Donald Trump makes it easy with the daily barrage of insanity. So that's usually the play there, is that the media is just going to look the other way, no follow-up, and, that's it.
More echoes of George Floyd's murder reaching the front pages and the television networks of the United States now.
Well, I think it's important to underscore that even what the White House refers to as the legacy media here is subject to change. Yeah. I mean, CBS News, as of now...
Simply, Steve, I heavily recommend that you keep that rhetoric to yourself. You're allowed to obviously feel that, think that. I would never take that away from you, especially the right to defend oneself and one's home. But I heavily recommend you stop putting those statements in social media. It can only hurt you. It can only hurt you in a court of law. And I assure you, a court of law will be happy to throw your life away based off the most mildest of statements. So I heavily recommend you keep that rhetoric to yourself. I trust that you believe it, but for your own safety, I heavily recommend that you censor yourself on that. Like, I'm not going to censor myself. You're doing the authoritarians a favor. You're doing the work for them. So, that's all. You should protect yourself and understand that you are under constant monitoring, and the first place they look is your social media presence. And yes, of course, Twitch is a social media platform.
Is a pro-Trump network. I'm also bound to say it is the BBC's media partner here in the United States, and I think that poses a massive question, another massive question for the BBC, because what's it going to do about the fact that its media partner is a pro-Trump network at a moment when Trump is suing the corporation for $10 billion for defamation? I think that there's no question that in siloed media channels last night, the public was seeing different versions of this story. So obviously the channels that are pro-Trump and the propaganda networks are emphasizing the fact that that this woman, according to Kristi Noem, was a domestic terrorist, even though there's absolutely no evidence she'd participated, as far as we know, in anti-ICE protests previously. And
of course, that definition, that declaration is an attempt to blanket claim anybody who argues with Trump is a domestic terrorist. Of course, we've seen attempts to call TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome, a real medical issue, And, you know, the idea is to, of course, point the finger arbitrarily at anybody at any time, and say, you know, this justifies their arrest. We see similar things in other tyrannical regimes like China and Russia, North Korea as well. It's a well-worn playbook, and you would think Americans would be aware of it. You know, criticizing other countries for as long as we have, unless you're Hassan. But there's always the bootlickers, and this is why we mustn't give them any space. We mustn't give them what they want, some meaningless debate, some endless rhetorical debate, you know, like Surrounded. Just like Sartre said, they don't respect language, they don't respect reality. It's a game to them. This is all in the service of what they know to be a contradictory. They claim patriotism, they claim free speech, they claim the Constitution while acting against it. Most understand that they're hypocritical in that. They don't care. This is a means to an end by any means necessary. And let's not forget that even after Germany was completely defeated, there was 10-20% of Germans who remained, who were still loyal to Adolf Hitler and the Nazi movement. There is, you know, in any society, there are people who never learn, no matter how bad it gets, no matter how many people suffer. Through maybe, you know, and we could, you know, if you want to get really weird with it, you can be like, well, you know, this might have something to do with fetal alcohol syndrome. This might have something to do with mental illness. This might have something to do with, you know, prior trauma, right? This might be like something that they literally cannot understand. You know, tie them to a chair and you know, repeat over and over and over again. They simply will not get it. You know, it goes. You could argue that it goes, you know, even beyond, you know, ego. That it's like it's a mental illness. But these people always exist. And, you know, you can have your democracy if you can keep it. Ben Franklin was well aware of these elements and, you know, and how they are the cancer of democracy. Unfortunately, to have democracy and have free speech, there's no way around it. We can't ban them into non-existence. These elements will always exist. You know, you got characters like Sagar Antonetti, happy, gleefully, eagerly applying a veneer of academics to this insanity, you know, either for profit or for ego or mental illness. These people will always exist, and they will, like I said, you know, with Nazi Germany, they will exist even in sitting in the rubble of total defeat. They will be, you know, in their own little head, Sieg Heiling. And so even if we are able to completely defeat MAGA, you know, Elon Musk will always Sieg Heil, always. You know, he will always be this person. Even if he loses his fortune, he loses his businesses, he is totally and utterly defeated, and everyone calls his shit out. He will continue to be the Nazi that thinks an authoritarian strongman and ethnic purity is the solution.
Either way, those protests are constitutionally permitted and legal. There was nothing that she was doing that one can tell in that video that could be described as illegal, because it's very unclear why she parked her car. It looks like she may have been attempting to do a U-turn to get out of the area. I mean, certainly there's no evidence to suggest that this was deliberate strategy on her behalf. And then, of course, if you watched MS Now, as it's now called, formerly MSNBC, or the left-leaning channels here, you will hear coverage that is obviously much more excoriating towards ICE and this complex, this vast.
So when they do that, it's just to keep the veneer of progressivism. But like I said, the way that MS Now lies is through omission. So they'll do this little song and dance for maybe 48 hours and then quietly move on to the next story without and what they need to be doing is following up but they don't. They never do. How many murders, cop murders, did they completely ignore last year? And how many of them did they report on and actually follow up on? The numbers would shock you.
$170 billion complex that Donald Trump is building to deport 1 million people a year from the United States. In that big, beautiful spending bill that he signed into law last year, ICE is going to get more money from the US government to finance its operations than every other state and local law enforcement agency combined.
Yeah, in fact, ICE, just through the budget, is larger than some countries' militaries. This was in Project 2025. It's really good to know. It's really good to note that Russell Vought and Stephen Miller, they know they are fascist. They know they are authoritarian. They know they are anti-constitutional. They know that, in their heart of hearts, they know that what they're doing is an anti-American project, and they know tens of millions of people will resist this. And one of the main priorities, one of the first things they did in the first few months was neuter the Justice Department, neuter any kind of ability to enforce the laws, make sure that they gut the military and fill it with sycophants. And then, of course, ICE was a number one priority to, find a law enforcement, find an enforcement group connected directly to the executive branch, and, blow that up into what we've seen right now. They understand that they're going to need an extrajudicial force that is loyal to MAGA and not loyal to America. I would be surprised if ICE is even forced to do any kind of oath. And I'm sure the oath, if they do an oath, somehow mentions the executive branch or the government in some way, not loyal to the Constitution, but loyal to the orders of the government. I could be wrong on that, because you can just have them do the oath, as we've seen with the military. You can have them do an oath and just order them to violate the Constitution. And if you install enough sycophants and you install enough bastards, anti-American bastards, it doesn't matter, because it's just words. It's just words, right? Peaceful revolution if the left lets it be, and just replace the word revolution with coup. And that's exactly what we have here.
That is the power that ICE is being given, and there has been a rush to recruit more agents. Many of them have been offered generous signing bonuses, $20,000, $30,000, just to bring them on board. And there is copious evidence, NBC News has done a lot of work on this, to show that these men and women are in many cases not receiving basic background checks and security checks before they go into basic training and find.
Some of these individuals are incapable of doing 10 push-ups. There's reports coming that they had to lower the standards to, the physical standards to a few sit-ups and some push-ups, and some of these individuals are incapable of doing that. But you don't need to do push-ups when you have tear gas, pepper balls, and just straight-up guns
themselves on the streets. And if you look at what happened yesterday, that guy pulling his gun, I mean, it almost looks as though the second ICE agent right next to the car is concerned that he's about to come in the line of fire.
Yes.
I mean, this was chaos.
It's a bit
on
like
the streets,
Fredo
on a
in
residential street of Minneapolis.
It is, and we shouldn't probably, I shouldn't make light of any of it, because it is.
Right. Okay, so there's the LBC covering that. Moving on to the next story. We got MS Now here 4 hours ago, covering this a little bit longer. Don't expect this to last. Let's jump into it.
So I just want to tell folks what we're looking.
Mika Brzezinski and fucking Morning Joe. Just make it stop. Make it fucking stop. Now, it's important to note that the reason why I watch this stuff is not because I'm a big fan of Morning Joe, and it's not because I hate myself, even though that's partially true. It's good to understand how they lie to us. It's good to understand how because we need to understand that MS Now is, of course, owned by right-wing oligarchs, and yes, they are right-wing. This this pseudo leftist performance that they put on is an effort to reinforce the existing neoliberal status quo. One of the main jobs of organizations like this is to prevent actual progressivism from spreading and getting out. Yeah, and there it is. One of the main jobs of a Democrat neoliberal and their supporters like MS Now is to prevent socialism, democratic socialism, any discussion of actual progressivism, to maintain the illusion of balance, both sidesism, right? To maintain the power of access journalism. And that's mainly what I'm observing when I watch these clips.
At here, this is neighboring St. Paul, where there are clashes taking place
Me
right
first,
now. Live
Simply Steve.
pictures. Protesters are clashing.
So as you can see here, I mean, this is my physique, right? Jiggling like a bowl of fucking Jello.
With what appears to be ICE agents, and it appears that the protesters were trying to enter.
They got extra magazines. Yeah, I got the dad bod. They got the extra Look at this guy. Look at this fucking whale over here. They got the extra magazines and all the toys and accoutrement. Makes them feel like big men.
A federal building, and they are.
Well, right now these images
James.
obviously are police officers are surrounding and keeping.
I mean, some of these guys have magazines for guns that they're not even carrying.
Officers are keeping them on the ground.
You know, like what is this? What is this?
John.
Yeah, we will keep an eye on this.
We're just
Clearly
depressing
heated
you.
clash here.
Calm
And this has been a
down.
concern all along. Minneapolis and St. Paul, right across the river, have been a bit of a powder keg. We know that, of course, is where George Floyd was killed in 2020. It's there's been ICE operations stepped up in recent weeks. The Trump administration has really levied accusations about fraud, singling out the Somali community in recent days. And now we are seeing these significant protests the day after this shooting of a woman in her car. John
You're
Sandwig,
next.
as we keep an eye on these images.
Asmongold says this is okay. It's interesting. Asmongold came out and supported the Venezuelan invasion, but is now getting cold feet about Greenland. Never once did Asmongold mention that, because he's talking about, if we get money, it's a good thing that we're doing Venezuela because we get money out of it. 5 minutes of Googling this would have revealed that a majority of the oil that's in Venezuela is incredibly, thick, crude, dirty oil, and it's only profitable to refine if the price per barrel is above $80, and it's currently around 60 right now. So if we're gonna be stealing their oil, it's actually going to be a net loss to refine it and sell it. None of those things matter, though.
I wanted to ask you to take a step back, not about this specific incident, but you're a former acting ICE director. There's been questions raised this morning about the training, about the readiness of ICE agents and Border Patrol agents who are used to doing very different operations along the border as opposed to urban areas
Clean coal is an oxymoron.
like Minneapolis.
Yeah, of course it is.
Do you have
gotta love these residents. I gotta love these residents over here getting physical, getting up in their face, showing nonviolent direct resistance to ICE. And yes, this is nonviolent. I don't see guns. I don't see weapons. It's just a physical presence. And of course the right wing would say, this is violence. You're not allowed. You should, you like Sagar and Janetti, you should get on your hands and knees and lick their boots like I do. Last time I checked, that's not American. Last time I checked, we used to tar and feather motherfuckers, right?
Is there you have worries that these men and women simply aren't prepared to do the job they've been asked to do.
Absolutely. I have very strong concerns about what we're doing tactically. We've put ICE officers in the position to do things they weren't trained to do. They're not part of their core mission. We've pulled U.S. Border Patrol agents who are trained to interdict individuals in remote areas where the rules of engagement are the same, but the threats they face are so radically different. And we put them up in urban areas like Minneapolis. And really, these videos that we're seeing now are very concerning to me because it's ICE and Border Patrol agents who just have no training and experience in doing crowd control or public order policing, who are now, which is delicate, but also they're
so you see how corporate media, and you're seeing this from the Democratic Party as a whole, defending the institution of ICE, not refusing to talk about, and refusing to promise that they would disband ICE, still afraid to not look tough on crime, while acknowledging that this institution is not going after criminals. Maybe 10% of the people that they're going after are actually, deserving of, being tracked down and pulled out, because there's some bad guys out there. That aren't necessarily from our country. Those people do exist. But a grand majority of the people being harassed are easy pickings, fish in a barrel, laborers, people working at daycares, people working at hospitals, people going to the hospital, people, hanging out at a Home Depot parking lot, hoping someone wants to help them build a porch. The reason why they go after them is because it's easy. And, the goal is to have as many as possible. It's really interesting. It's like Donald Trump, we're going to see during the election, he's going to be, I've deported more people than ever, even though it's probably not factually true. Barack Obama and Joe Biden were probably still deporting more people than Trump. But, Donald Trump, Stephen Miller, and Tom Hooman, they think it's going to be a big electoral winner for them. It's really going to get a lot of people on their side. We've deported 1 million criminals. That kind of shit. So they're doubling down on it.
Target themselves at the protesters' ire. It just has a tendency to inflame the situation and escalate. I feel like the administration, I think that you could have taken a position where here we want to de-escalate this situation, issue the proper statement, have the secretary say there will be
Yeah, Jeremy, yeah, he was saying that. He literally said things like, R.I.P. Bozo. I'm not going to bother looking it up, but I'm sure when Charlie Kirk was shot, the rhetoric was completely different. Asmongold represents truly the knuckle dragging ignoramuses who, they're just political tourists. They like to see other people get hurt. He's in way over his head, Asmongold. He's in way over his head. He's an embarrassment. It never ends well for people like Asmon, but he's riding high right now as a mouthpiece for this fascist movement. Him and Joe Rogan, XQC, some extremely, extremely ignorant people. And they attract an audience who want that echo chamber, right?
Full investigation will get maximum transparency, lower the profile of the agency in the city itself. Unfortunately, I think it seems like the administration wants to steer the other way. The secretary herself returned to Minneapolis, doubled down on the defense of both the operation itself, but also what happened with the shooting. All of that is not about de-escalation, but rather the opposite. It seems it's going to just further tensions, and I'm worried about what's going to happen in the coming days.
Well, and this right here, these live pictures that we're looking at out of St. Paul, this is exactly what the governor and governors and mayors across the country have been warning about.
And this is exactly what Donald Trump and Miller and Hooman have wanted. They want this. In fact, they want these protesters to further escalate.
This type of tension between ICE and the community. ICE, that many would argue, are not trained well enough in general, armed, and not trained to deal with these specific communities, not in sync with the local police and with local officials, with no connectivity.
Right.
And
yet police are happy to work with them.
communication about exactly what they're doing to, quote, make America safer. And then you have the community here worried about their friends and neighbors, rightfully so. After people are being disappeared across the country, people are being hurt, people are being separated from their families, whether illegal, going through the process, or American citizens. It's happening to all types of people who are in this country. There is fear, there is anger.
Look at this absolute fucking fridge. It's embarrassing. It really is something else, man.
And now, after yesterday, one could argue there's no question.
And I'm allowed to judge this man because I have his physique. So that's how it works, right?
And there's chaos.
Right. This stupid fucking woman with her goddamn ridiculous fucking cowboy hat. Let's keep it moving. Here's Kyle Kulinski admonishing Chuck Schumer, who is, coming out. They don't want to say they disagree with Venezuela because they agree with Venezuela. They don't want to say that they disagree with ICE because they're Chuck Schumer. They don't want to say they disagree with ICE because they don't want to disband ICE, and they have consultant brain, and they think somehow standing up against ICE will be a political winner for the Republicans in the election. It's always about them. It's always about their own careers. It's never about what do the people want and what's good for the people. Obviously, disbanding ICE and talking about dismantling and identifying anybody who's ever worked with ICE. We're seeing Ro Khanna come out. We're seeing that candidate, what's his name? What's his nuts there? He had that Nazi tattoo, but then he removed it. Grant, something. It's right on the tip of my tongue. Seems like a pretty stand-up fella. Nazi tattoo aside that he had removed. Maybe not Grant. It's right on the tip of my tongue. But he's come out and said, it's in the Discord there, Graham Plattner. So it is Graham, not Grant. But he's come out and said, the moderate position is to disband ICE. I don't know if we've even seen Zoran Mamdani come out and say that ICE needs to be dismantled. Maybe he has. AOC certainly hasn't. She's made several statements, strong statements, that what she witnessed was murder, but still no promise to do whatever she can with her power to disband ICE, to dismantle ICE. And it's a political calculation, right? And it's always about their careers. It's always about politics. Chuck Schumer, of course, fully supports Israel's genocide on Palestine, and he will support Israel until the last Palestinian has been removed from the Gaza Strip, and the West Bank is nothing but a sliver of what it once was, probably fully subsumed by Israel and turned into some kind of ghetto. Chuck Schumer fully supports Israel's apartheid state. There's nothing Israel can do that Chuck Schumer wouldn't fully back and get behind, just like Joe Biden. And this is supposedly supposed to be a leader of liberal Democrats. Yeah, Seneca. Yeah, exactly. At the same time, though, it's like, he has gone so far as to basically say, I'm going to instruct my cops to. He didn't say this directly, but he kind of, in a roundabout way, said, I'm going to instruct the cops to arrest ICE agents who break the law. Will he follow through on that? I think there's a good chance that he might. But he stopped short at saying, we need to disband ICE for political reasons. We like I said at the beginning of the stream, we need to understand that the fascist movement takes advantage of our moderation, and that even throughout all of our moderation, our careful tiptoeing, they will still call us terrorists. They will still call us murderers. They will still, say we're the scum of the earth, lowest of the low. It doesn't matter how many right-wingers participate in mass shootings. They'll still, we had Laura Loomer coming out and saying, she, she had pronouns in her bio every time, as if every single mass shooter is a trans leftist activist. So they go to that hyperbolic level anyway. Now, does that mean we should come out and advocate for violence? But no, that doesn't. But what that does mean is that we should just accept that they're going to be doing that and take the stance that people want to hear. Be populist. Stop being afraid to be populist, right? Call for ICE to be disbanded. Oh, they're going to say I'm anti-police. They're going to say you're anti-police regardless. They're not going to let up even an iota. They're not going to, it's hard for us to take that stance because they've been so careful with their language. They're going to do it anyway. So I don't really understand the strategic advantage. Really, the only way I can understand it is through careerism. It's just simply people trying to protect their careers, and that's disgusting. So I hope Graham Plattner wins. Seems like a pretty solid dude. I'd love to see him win.
Hate to subject you to some Chuck Schumer bullshit, but here we are. I got to do what I got to do. You got to see the lack of leadership from the top Democrats. Now, by the way, before I even get to Chuck, let me just say Hakeem Jeffries really has handled this incredibly poorly. Anytime your commentary on an illegal and offensive war against a country that didn't attack us and a regime change and a kidnapping and an abduction, right? And your reaction starts with, well, that person is a total thug and a gangster and a piece of shit and a dictator and got all these problems. No.
So this is what he's talking about right here. He was asked Hakeem Jeffries was asked a direct question, and this is how he answered it.
You said that they're going to be taking up the appropriations process.
One second here.
Given that you said that they're going to be taking up the appropriations process, if Democrats take back the House or Senate, will they do anything to slash funding for ICE or hold?
So if Democrats take back the House or Senate, will they do anything to slash funding for ICE? That's the question, and this is how Jeffries responds.
Hold ICE accountable for these.
Will you hold ICE accountable?
Shootings. There are multiple shootings, not just what happened to Renee Day.
Pointing out that there are multiple shootings. Eager to answer this question, and this is the direction he goes in.
Let me first say that the killing of Renee.
Let me completely ignore your question, and then grandstand, right? Which is okay. That's nice. We're acknowledging that this is a murder. This is abhorrent. This is terrible. And let me just answer the question that you didn't ask. And ignore the question that you did ask, which is, are you going to hold ICE accountable in any way, shape, or form? We got AIPAC Shakur over here, it's the media environment, it's the fourth estate, it's access journalism is why he gets away with it, because he's going to answer. He's going to spend this whole minute here answering a question that wasn't asked, no follow up, no pushback. And if that reporter were to do that, that's the end of that reporter's career, at least in terms of, getting to sit there at that seat and ask, it's for, once again, going back to careers, personal, me. We have to talk about media reform, and it's really hard because we basically need a politician to get up there and advocate to make lying harder, to make obfuscating harder, to make it legal and okay and mandatory for reporters to be really annoying, and to possibly force the politician to say something that might hurt their career. And even Zoran Mamdani, as skillful as he is, might not want that. Like it has to come from the people, because politicians are, you're gonna have to find the most honest, straight up politician on planet Earth that would advocate for a media that could push back forcefully, and put them in a corner and force them to answer questions. Even AOC, she's not going to want that, right? They all use these techniques, and it allows them to keep their careers. So it's it has to come from us. We have to demand that these people are held accountable in this way, and demand the end of access journalism. Unfortunately, your average citizen doesn't even know what access journalism even is. They think they've seen this for so long. For some folks, their entire lives, they think this is just how it is. That politicians are allowed to not answer questions. Yeah, step one of the 3-step program, we have to inform ourselves, right? We have to even understand what access journalism even is.
Nicole Good was an abomination, a disgrace. And blood is clearly on the hands of those individuals within the administration.
Remember, he was asked, if you win in the House or the Senate, are you going to hold ICE accountable? Are you going to defund them? Are you going to do anything with your power?
Who've been pushing an extreme policy.
Right. And now we're talking about Donald Trump. Not talking about what are you going to do? What's your party going to do? What's the plan? If we give you our vote, from his perspective, the vote is guaranteed. People are going to vote us back in. This is why they didn't publish their audit, their retrospective on the mistakes that they made during the last election season. They think it's in the bag, so it's right back to rhetoric, messaging.
That has nothing to do with immigration enforcement connected to removing violent felons from this country. We support the removal of violent felons from this country.
We've got to remind people that we support ICE, but we don't want to say that.
Who are here illegally. But that's not what this administration has been doing under the so-called leadership.
50 seconds in, maybe let's say 30 seconds in, he was asked a direct question about what his party is going to do.
Of Kristi Noem, who's a stone-cold liar. There's no evidence at all that this was a justified shooting. So let's deal with the tragedy right now.
Right. So coming back to the question, let's not ask appropriate questions like, what are you going to do if the voters were to put you back in charge? Let's stay focused on partisan politics.
Hasn't even been buried. Her family
basically saying, let's not make this political.
Is grieving.
Right. So the grieving family doesn't want to hear what the Democratic Party is going to do about this to prevent this from happening in the future, huh? Speaking for the aggrieved. Oh, they don't want to hear us talking about solutions. They don't want to hear us talking about what the game plan is.
She was a single mom and an American citizen. And we all are outraged by what took place in Minneapolis, and we will respond decisively.
And we will respond decisively. Some open, vague promise, a maybe that isn't even a maybe, a promise that isn't even a promise. We will respond appropriately. Could literally mean anything. So this is your Democratic Party. This is why he was installed as well by Nancy Pelosi. His main concern is fundraising. Silicon Valley mainly, but AIPAC, anybody willing to give them money. It's all about dough, even now.
No. Do not feed the logic of your opponent and then veer away at the conclusion. We lived through this with Iraq. What was the point of saying, well, Saddam Hussein is a dictator and he is bad and he is evil and he did all these things, but please don't overthrow him? What the fuck is that? No, come out aggressively and tell the truth. The truth is, we back 73% of the world's dictatorships. Trump snuggles up to Netanyahu on a daily basis. Netanyahu, MBS, these are objectively more dictatorial, worse leaders than Maduro. And we back them and we fund them and we love them. So who the fuck are we, a government led by the fucking Epstein class, Epstein billionaires, pedophile rapists, and we're going to morally judge other countries and be the fucking arbiter of power in the world. We're going to be the world policeman. Fuck that. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. This is illegal. This is offensive. This is a country that didn't attack us. You're not supposed to do fucking war unless there's a direct threat of violence against us. Like, make a real case. So anyway, fuck Hakeem Jeffries for his throat-clearing bullshit. I hated it. And Chuck Schumer, I mean, same shit from him. But Maduro is actually really bad. And then you get stuff like this. Ready? Ron Filipkowski says, Schumer still thinks it's the 1994 Republican Party. And here's Chuck Schumer on Morning Joe. Listen to how he comes out roaring like a lion against Trump.
We have the War Powers Act, which you mentioned.
Right.
I have the right to put that on the floor. Tim Kaine is the sponsor along with myself and Rand Paul, so it's bipartisan to a degree.
Oh, thank God.
And
it's bipartisan, thank God.
Republicans must, if there was ever a time, they must step up to the plate.
Step up to the plate. They don't live in reality. They don't live in reality.
This is the time. And they're going to, if they don't, they're going to feel the heat from their constituents.
You talked about the American...
Not from us. Not from us. From their constituents who fully support this fascist agenda. They just don't like the economics of getting screwed over. Everything else that they fully support.
The same constituents that said they were against bombing Iran, and then as soon as Trump did it, it shot up to 95% of MAGA Republicans that supported it. They're going to feel the heat from them. Is that what they're going to do? They're going to feel the heat from them? Who is this mythical, reasonable Republican that you're appealing to?
Well, Rand Paul and like one other guy, Thomas Massie. The rest of the entire party wants to, literally eliminate Democrats, as we've seen with the gerrymander effort. Was that in Tennessee? They want to, or Illinois? Which one was it? It was Tennessee or something. It was one of those. Literally, they want to gerrymander all the Democrats out of their seats. Undemocratic by definition. They want to destroy and eliminate the Democratic Party. And that's his response. Please, won't someone reasonable stand up?
Bro, I've been looking. Don't say I didn't try to appeal to them myself. I did for years.
Right.
Right?
You should maybe call out your wife's co-host, Saagar Enginetti. But, that's an intentional blind spot by Kyle Kulinski for understandable reasons. Right? Happy wife, happy life and all that. But Saagar Enginetti is exactly the kind of supposedly reasonable Republican, tacitly supporting the fascist agenda.
But at some point, you got to call a spade a spade. At some point, you have to say, oh, you're a sadistic, cretinous demon. Like, you actually get off on people being miserable and people being hurt. And your whole politics is based around, I want to hurt the people I don't like. Right? At some point, you got to call a spade a spade. What Republican is going to be like, oh, I'm actually very outraged about it? No, it's not going to happen. Guess what? The percentage of people in the country that support what Trump did is 37%. His approval rating is about 37% also. So all the Kool-Aid drinking, terrorist, fascist, death cult members, they are still there. Now, granted, that number has gone down from like 45% all the way down to 37, and maybe we can get it down to, if we're lucky, 25% or so. But instead of preaching to the people who are like literally your political enemy, who want to like kill you, instead of that, maybe talk to Democrats, maybe talk to liberals, maybe talk to leftists, maybe talk to independents, maybe talk to moderates, maybe talk to apolitical folks. Maybe it's everybody but them. Maybe you should be making a case. No, you don't get it. These people truly are satanic. Look at what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. But no, like it's just such a cucked version of politics. Like this attempt to...
One of the reasons why these incel, fascist, racist, bigot, man-children bigots seem so strong is that they're up against characters like Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries, right? When you're up against an incredibly weak group of people who are begging to be defeated, so much so that, a credible accusation could be made that they're intentionally doing this, right? That they are paid opposition. I don't believe that, but I'd be willing to sit down and have a conversation with somebody who's like, no, I got evidence. Let me show you. I got A, B, and C. Let me run you through the whole, I'd sit there and listen to it. because I mean, you know, it's hard to imagine a group of people so incredibly weak. The money reinforces that weakness, though, right? The people that are giving them money want them to be this way. Mark Cuban is a great example, right? Supposedly one of the good billionaires. He wants a Democratic Party that is like this. Israel wants a Democratic Party that's like this. When you follow the money, on the Democratic Party, when you follow the money, you realize that there is a lot of incentive to be this feckless, to be this weak. So, you know, paid opposition, there's some meat on them bones.
Appeal to this mythical, reasonable Republican. Is that how Republicans talk? Do they say, well, there's a lot of Democrats out there that they're going to rise up and they're going to stand for the right thing? No! They call us, incorrectly, groomers and fredophiles. They call us that.
John Axel.
Just so happens the leaders of the Republican Party are actually fredophiles, so we can call them that, and it's real. So, it's just incredible. But he's not done. He also gives us his moment. I love this. So remember, Marco Rubio got approved overwhelmingly through the Senate. I think, was it like over 90 votes in favor? It was ridiculous. Like almost every Democrat was like, yeah, we support Rubio. Why? The guy's a fucking colossal neocon imperialist warmonger. Now he's proving exactly that, committing war crimes all over the place. And so he's asked, hey, do you regret voting for him? Listen to this.
Given what's happened here in Venezuela and the actions that Marco Rubio has taken, do you regret your vote to confirm him?
I am deeply, deeply disappointed in Marco Rubio, even before Venezuela, and even more so now.
Well, you shouldn't have fucking voted for him, number one. Number two, the answer is yes.
Deeply disappointed. Are you going to do anything about it? Are you going to act on this? No. I'm going to wag my finger and I'm going to send a strongly worded letter to the Honorable Mr. Rubio, who continues to work every single day to destroy me and my organization. Getting back to ICE, I forgot that was more Venezuela oriented here, but we're seeing a lot of these George Orwell clips. You know, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final and most essential command. And this is what we're seeing. Female eunuchs with the always appropriate GIFs. What do you want me to say? I don't know. Images. But here's Donald Trump, along with Kristi Noem and the rest of the Republicans, including Saagar Enginetti, who voted Trump 3 times. The woman driving the car was very disorderly, obstructing and resisting. Lie. Who then violently, willfully, and viciously ran over the ICE officer. Lie. Who seems to have shot her in self-defense. Lie. Based on the attached clip, it is hard to believe he is alive, but is now recovering in the hospital. Lie. I have no doubt that they took him to the hospital, right? And of course, as we saw in right-wing media, that was the thing that they ran with. They need the right-wing media needed something to hold on to grab onto. So that's what they chose. Here's the New York Times, uncharacteristically going against the government narrative. What we might see here with the New York Times is that they initially come out because they don't want to lose, overtly lose credibility. And remember, Rupert Murdoch, the Fox News, the owner of Fox News, and right-wing, horrific right-wing media network, owns the New York Times. But what they'll do sometimes is that they come out initially with a somewhat sensible take, and then slowly, usually through opinion pieces and editorials, will they then agree with the narrative. We saw this with January 6th. Initially came out, called a spade, and then allowed right-wingers in their opinions and editorials to water down the narrative. So here's the New York Times analysis of this, and I'm sure most of the people in the chat have seen all these videos and whatnot. So I'm not going to beleaguer, belabor. I'm not going to labor the points here. The one thing that I would like to point out is that the second he fired the first shot, she was dead, and then her body does what a human body does when it's shot in the head and seizes up, the muscles tense up. If you've seen someone get shot in the head, you might have seen it yourself. If you haven't, I'm envious. But for a person like me who's seen lots of human beings shot in the face, because I seek the truth, it's a natural reaction. So the second the bullet is fired, and this happens within milliseconds. The second the bullet is fired, the car is out of control. The reason why it doesn't plow directly into him is because she was already turning to the right. But the second he fired the bullet and it entered her head, the vehicle, the accelerator was hit, head, face down. You can actually hear in the footage the accelerator is fully depressed. It's fully pressed down. It's rammed into the back of the vehicle. So he's actually, the cop or the ICE agent there is actually lucky that she was turning away from him, because if she was actually trying to hit him and then he executes her, his fate would have been sealed. He would have been mercilessly ran over because a corpse would have been pressing down on the gas pedal. Welcome back, Snow. Good to see you.
With sirens and lights blaring. A federal agent films the scene on his phone.
Yeah, GTA 4.
The driver rolls forward slightly, turning left, then stops and waves for others to go ahead. 2 agents exit this silver pickup and walk toward the vehicle. Moments later, shots are fired. Let's look at the scene again more closely. This is the agent who shoots the driver. He walks around the car filming and disappears from view. Other agents pull up and order the driver to exit her vehicle. One of them grabs at the door handle and reaches inside. The SUV reverses, then turns right, apparently attempting to leave. At the same time, the agent filming crosses toward the left of the vehicle and grabs his gun.
Yeah, I sure can. Corporal Fly, welcome back. It's good to see you. This is all over the internet, this New York Times rundown. But, there's some slow motion ones as well. But, she's steering away from the ICE agent. The guy literally has to lean forward to line up his weapon with her head through the windshield. And that's why he's kind of bounces off the vehicle, because he's actually trying to get closer, trying to line up that shot, and then he follows up with two extra ones there. But the absolute second that he pulls that first trigger, she's dead. It happens that quickly. You're alive and you're dead. That's how getting shot in the head works. It's like being disconnected from the Matrix, to use a sloppy comparison there. But if you want, if you don't want to watch people get shot in the head for you to understand what it looks like, I think her name was Switch, right? Not Like This. Well, it happens even quicker than that movie where she kind of like falls down. It's actually it's quite horrific to watch, because 1 millisecond the person is alive and you can see that, and then the next millisecond they're limp, and you can tell everything shuts down instantly, muscles tense up. It's horrific. Welcome back, Star Troopian.
He opens fire on the motorist and continues shooting as she drives past. The moment the agent fires, he is standing here,
right
to the left.
And as you can see, the wheels turn to the right. If her intention was to hit him and he fired that gun, he would have been under those wheels mercilessly. Full accelerator.
Of the SUV, and the wheels are pointing to the right, away from the agent. This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram the officer.
Interesting. I actually didn't notice that about the video there. He's actually wiping. He gets splattered with blood. That, you know, people don't like it. Even if you're the person that you're killing, you know, Pulp Fiction, right? You put your hand up. People don't like getting sprayed with other people's blood and brain matter. I never noticed that, but he's actually reacting to the splash of her blood on his face.
This appears to conflict with allegations that the SUV was ramming or about to ram
blood?
the officer.
You know, is that my blood? Is that
President
me?
Trump and others said the federal agent was hit by the SUV, often pointing to another video filmed from a different angle.
As you can see, she's accelerating.
And it's true that at this moment in this grainy,
it's a
low-resolution footage, it does look like the agent is being struck by the SUV. But when we synchronize it with the first clip, we can clearly see the agent is not being struck at this moment. In fact, his feet are positioned away from the SUV.
He's leaning in for the
The
kill
SUV
shot.
crashes into a white car parked down the road.
What the?
A bystander runs toward the collision. The federal agents on scene do not appear to rush to provide emergency medical care. Eventually, the agent who shot the motorist approaches the vehicle. Seconds later, he turns back around and tells his colleagues to call 911.
Shame!
Hey, call 911. I just brutally murdered somebody.
You shot someone! You shot someone!
Agents block several bystanders who attempt to provide medical care, including one who identifies himself as a physician.
I go check a pulse.
No! Back up! Now!
I'm a physician!
I don't care.
At the same time, several agents, including the agent who opened fire, get in their vehicles and drive off, apparently altering the active crime scene.
Right. So they immediately commit a crime, and then they protect the criminal who committed the crime. Sorry if you caught a glimpse of that dead body. I thought that was blurred. I'll try to be better in the future. Hopefully Twitch will not ding me for that one. My bad. Here is BBC's analysis. Let me just make sure that we're not showing corpses here. As much as I would like to show you corpses, I'd like to show you the truth. I have to work within the rules of this. Well, not really. It's still glitching out. They've done something to my account, or there's some incompatibility with Restream. But that same problem is still occurring, you know. So my final, you know, I might have to go to fucking, what is it, Gaggle or Gab. I'm on DLive, you know. But it's only a matter of time before they kick me out because I showed the truth. I do the best I can to adhere to TOS, but it can be difficult. And this is why I live in the politics section. I'm not in just chatting, you know, where you're a random 8-year-old can roll in there, you know, trying to catch a glimpse at some cleavage. You know, I'm in politics because what we do is political, what we show is politics, and oftentimes politics is bloody. There's no way about it.
A residential street in Minneapolis. This agent can be seen walking round a burgundy car. The driver has their window open and appears to be waving cars past. A vehicle stops, and 2 more agents get out and approach the woman's car, whose window is still down. You can hear an officer tell the woman to get out of her car. From this point, we've slowed the footage down. One of the agents approaches the driver's window and tries to open the car door, which appears to be locked. At this point, the car starts reversing. The third agent has now moved round to the front of the car and appears to be filming on a mobile phone. He's already at the edge of the car, on the left-hand side of the bonnet. The agent then puts his phone away. The car starts to move forward and turn right, away from the officers. The agent in front of the car draws his gun and fires a first shot.
She's dead right there.
The car is still moving away to the right. The agent then appears to be pointing his gun through the driver's window as the car pulls away. 2 more shots can then be heard. From this angle, you can't see may have made some form of contact with the agent before the first shot can be heard. The footage is filmed from a distance, so it's hard to be clear. After the shots, the woman's car veers off the road and crashes into a parked vehicle.
He's leaning
In
forward.
the aftermath, the officer who fired holsters his weapon and walks towards the crashed car. He shows no signs of having been injured.
No, he does show signs of trauma, though. Like I said, you know, I mean, you're Billy Badass until you see someone's brains spill out, right? And then that kind of changes. You know, you can't hide that stuff, right? He's probably is on the verge of vomiting. You know, he probably hasn't killed a person. These normal human responses. You could be a total racist monster, and you know, experiencing your first kill is you know, it's going to traumatize you. So this is from NBC News here. I don't know if this is anything new.
We begin tonight with Maggie Vespa at the scene in Minneapolis. And Maggie, we're calling this a city on edge, and you're seeing...
Yeah, okay, so this is kind of old, news. They're just going to go through what we already know. We haven't shown this ridiculous woman's responses, as disgusting as they are, and these fascist enablers that proudly stand next to her. You know, these people always exist. Never think that you know, that they'll go too far. They'll go too far, and no one will want to stand next to them. There's always the careerists. There's always the sociopaths. They're always there. They think they're really, really cool. You know, in their own head, they're heroes in their own little action movie. This woman, there's no words that I'm allowed to say on Twitch that could accurately describe my feelings towards this woman. Just know that I despise her. I'm well beyond pity. It is a kind of hatred that I rarely feel.
Who appears to be a passenger.
Hey, was you riding with her?
So this was a Facebook video going around. There was a passenger in the vehicle who was wiping off blood and brain matter from her skull, from her face. The snow that she was sitting in was blood stained. I think she was trying to wipe that blood. I think it was the woman's partner. She's saying she has a 6-year-old in school right now. She just witnessed her partner murdered.
Now, the Minneapolis Star-Tribune reporting the driver's mother identified her as Renee Nicole Good, saying, quote, "That's so stupid she was killed and that she was probably terrified." Tonight, sharp divisions over what happened. The Department of Homeland Security defending the officer, posting the driver weaponized her vehicle by accelerating.
Right, so here's NBC sane washing and doing what I was explaining earlier, both sidesing, right? Both sides have a point. Both sides. There's some confusion about what we see with our own eyes. This is how NBC works. This is why they exist, to convince so-called liberals convince them, that there is some kind of debate to be had here. And while we're having this endless debate, tyranny and fascism marches on. That is their goal, is to, convince well-meaning liberals that they're informed when couldn't be further from the truth.
And that an ICE officer, fearing for his life, fired defensive shots.
It was an act of domestic terrorism. A woman attacked them and those surrounding them and attempted to run them over and ram them with her vehicle. An officer of ours acted quickly and defensively shot to protect himself and the people around him.
But Minneapolis...
Right. So that's what you do when, you're being attacked by somebody in their vehicle, is you kill the driver, which then turns that vehicle into an uncontrolled, 1 ton. That the vehicle could have plowed into people on the sidewalk, could have plowed into someone's house. Someone sitting on their couch could have, went into their basement, killed them while they're doing laundry. In fact, I'll show you a clip here. Fellow on CNN was mentioning that, DHS, Department of Homeland Security training, says that you should not be shooting and killing people in their vehicle for that very reason. One thing people don't really know about is that cops are actually not supposed to chase aggressive drivers. They're supposed to have a certain distance away from those drivers, because a speeding vehicle can hurt and kill other vehicles, people on the sidewalk. So you keep a certain distance away to not escalate, unless the person is intentionally committing murders and intentionally trying to hurt people with their vehicle. That's when you are authorized to do the pit maneuvers and disable the vehicle with your vehicle. But the SOP for cops with people in their vehicles when they're in a high-speed chase is to actually slightly disengage, so that the person isn't driving erratically and uncontrollably, because a vehicle is actually very dangerous. So he was literally acting against his training. He was literally acting against the 5-minute video he was forced to watch before he was handed a gun. To not turn the vehicle into an uncontrolled deadly weapon. And look, the reason why you disengage is not because you let criminals do crime. They had the driver's license number. They can track her down easily through traffic cameras, et cetera, could find her, later. Not a problem doing that. Cops do it every single day. They can find you. We're not talking about a career criminal here. We're talking about a young mother who is, she's not changing her license plate. She's not a master of crime here. So you can actually just track that vehicle down very easily once things have de-escalated. You just pull her over. Track her down, pull her over. Cops do it every single day. So that, it's literally, it was literally just him. We see cops do this all the time. Cops, law enforcement, whatever you want to call ICE. But we see this all the time where, the cop gives the person an order. They don't follow it. The cop becomes angry and they enact vengeance on the person. Not to protect and serve, revenge. Almost every day it happens in terms of deadly violence. But every single day it happens. And you might have experienced this before. Cop pulls you over. Maybe it's a border guard. You have the temerity to ask a question. Why am I being held? Why did you do this? You try to defend yourself. Anything that isn't yes sir, no sir, yes sir, no sir, they then weaponize justice against you. Make your life a living hell. Throw the book at you however they can. Get a little rough with you. I've experienced all these things. Obviously not deadly violence, but I've experienced needing the police and, having my justice taken away from me. I've experienced, asking cops questions and border officers questions and them intentionally escalating unnecessarily. They know that they weren't going to find anything. But I had the audacity to question them, to push back on them whatsoever. Cenk Uygur says this quite a bit, but he says, one of the worst crimes you can commit in America is challenging a police officer. Because once you do that, they feel entitled to commit vengeance on you, to commit revenge on you. And that's what we saw here. You know, another great example is cops shooting young black men in the back because they're too fat and lazy to chase them down, even though they know who these individuals are. They could just go to their home, track them down, But instead of doing that, they just shoot them in the back. We see that quite a bit.
This is Democratic mayor slamming that explanation.
They are already trying to spin this as an action of self-defense. Having seen the video of myself, I want to tell everybody directly, that is this was an agent recklessly used.
So mayor uses curse words. Wow. Really strong language. Doesn't arrest the criminal. Cops continue to work with ICE. Doesn't change a goddamn thing. But he wagged his finger really hard, and he used bullshit and fuck. He said, "Get the fuck out of my city." Wow. What solidarity. If only there was a person in charge who could enforce the law. Gee, I wonder who that could be. Certainly isn't going to be the mayor, who's in charge of the entire police force. Nope. Still don't have the balls to do it. Still too afraid. And now the FBI is taking over everything, and the cover-up begins. Could have done something. Even an arrest where the FBI takes over, right, and then releases him later could have meant something. Welcome back, Joe. Good to see you. But nope. Doesn't do a goddamn thing. Doesn't instruct his police to stop assisting ICE. Blase, that's right. That's who you are. Doesn't arrest the murderer. Doesn't start, doesn't instruct the police, hey, any ICE agent that is not wearing identification, is not wearing a body camera, is fully masked up, you need to, address that. You need to get out there and enforce these laws. Doesn't do that. Gets in front of the camera, grandstands. And then what? Then what? No enforcement. And how many fascists and authoritarians do you know magically grow a conscience and just say, golly gosh, this is so wrong. I know I haven't received any actual pushback. I know I haven't received any punishment, but I'm just going to stop being a fascist. Just out of the goodness of my heart. Yeah, the Grinch did. You got one example. The goddamn Grinch, whose heart was 3 sizes too small. But outside of the Grinch, I can't think of a single fascist that in an environment where they receive no punishment, no accountability, outside of some finger wagging and rhetoric, stop their behavior.
Using power that resulted in somebody dying.
Later, chaos. Officers using tear gas to disperse crowds who were also...
Hey, NBC, how about we give Status Quo the credit on this footage? Huh? This is all Status Quo's footage. Jordan Sheridan's amazing journalistic outlet there. Boots on the ground. FNTV. Maybe it was a different boots on the ground there. Maybe I'm talking shit.
Seen throwing snow at officers.
We're scared in a way that, what do we do? How do we respond to this?
The mayor now demanding ICE stop enforcing immigration law in the city.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis.
Isn't that cute how it's framed? The mayor says to stop enforcing immigration activity. Is that what he asked for? They, even no matter how much they hedge we love cops. We love, we're tough on crime. We're tough on crime. The oligarchy will always frame it as you're making us less safe. You want to defund all police. So even from NBC, the guy tells a murderous organization to get the fuck out of his city, and that equals stop all immigration enforcement. So why not come out a little stronger? If they're just going to frame it that way anyway.
Demanding ICE stop enforcing immigration law in the city.
Is that what he demanded? I guess maybe technically he said ICE. They said they're being very specific with their language. Demand ICE stop enforcing immigration activity. What a way to word it, though. What a way to word it. Because him seeing an organization of thugs murder an innocent woman is now, he wants the rapists and killers to get away with it. He wants dirty brown people from another country to rape and pillage you. Maybe I'm being a little extreme here.
To ICE, get the out of Minneapolis. We do not want you here.
As ICE says it's facing a 1,300% surge in assaults on its officers.
This goes to show the assaults that our ICE officers and our law enforcement are under every single day.
Maggie, let's go back to that shooting that happened there. The videos of...
Wow. You okay, Maggie? You okay? Holy shit. Is there a car coming towards you?
The shooting have been seen all over the country. What are people saying who live where it happened?
Over to Maggie.
Well, Tom, people in this crowd tell us they don't agree with the Trump administration's characterization of what happened here earlier today. And to that end, the president weighing in, posting that the driver, quote, viciously ran over an ICE officer who seems to have shot her in self-defense.
Both sides. How did they end that? By sane washing the administration, letting the administration, the fascist administration, have the final word. Well, citizens disagree, but this is what our fascist overlords had to say. Oh my God, Baltimore County fire over here. Citizens disagree, but this is what our dear leader had to say. So we got J.D. Vance, of course, coming out. This was ready to go. This might as well have been a pre-drafted tweet. No, I'm not calling it an X or a post. Blah, blah, blah. Should be asked a simple question. Do you think this officer was wrong in defending his life? Lie against a deranged leftist. Lie. Slander of the dead. So, they're firing people for just quote tweeting Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk tweets or quotes about how Charlie Kirk quotes or tweets about how empathy is a weakness, right? Just repeating his words. You're fired. Get out of here. You're fired. But it's perfectly okay for Asmongold and J.D. Vance here. Just totally lie on this woman. I keep forgetting her goddamn name. I want to call her Kristi Noem, but it's the other one. Calling her a gay slur, carpet, M-word. Not going to repeat it here. It'll break TOS. We got Laura Loomer coming out and saying she's a carpet. You know the slur. Saying, oh, look, she was they, them, or she, her, I think was her pronouns. Deserve death. That's XQC was saying that in his offline chat. I saw that on live stream fails before I started the stream. Horribly bigoted, hateful people say these things. And who's Laura Loomer to say anything about anybody? She looks like something that emerges from the sea every 1,000 years to wreak chaos on humanity. She has the fucking audacity to be judging other people about their private lives. These people are going to try to arrest our law enforcement for doing their jobs. The least the media could do is ask them about it. So getting ahead of it, right? And they don't even do that. So why don't we arrest them then? They're going to, they're going to fearmonger. They're going to lie. Oh, they're going to get us. They're going to get us. We heard Donald Trump a couple days ago talking about we should end elections because they're going to impeach him. Meanwhile, Nancy Pelosi 2-3 weeks ago says we're not going to impeach. We're not even going to try to impeach. They do this shit anyway. So we preemptively disarm ourselves, or at least the neoliberal organization does. Preemptively disarm ourselves, tiptoe around rhetoric, and they just go there anyway. No, they don't care. So what is the actual disadvantage from making these populist calls, right, of impeachment, of arresting this murderer, even if it was just temporarily, right? Oh, well, maybe, I don't know. Oh, gee, maybe, what about my reelection? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I'm the mayor of a city. Should I instruct my cops to enforce the law? Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll just say fuck in front of the cameras. Is that good enough? No, actually. It isn't good enough. And they go ahead and fuck us anyway. As if we did it. As if we did arrest this criminal. As if we are talking about impeachment. Boy. The kickbots are really something else. Like, literally, my stream is like glitching, turning off and turning on. But the bots, of course, they don't know that. They just see that I'm kind of online, online for 4 seconds and then offline and then online and then offline. The bots are like, hey, buddy, how you doing? So here's another bot love. Yeah. It's all legitimate over there at Kick. So here's another person posting the Orwell quote, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. There's no two ways about it. These people are manufacturing reality. I mean, fuck manufacturing consent. They're manufacturing reality. So here's Noam. This was after she took off the ridiculous cowboy hat, 3 sizes too large for her tiny, surgically enhanced head. Saying the officer was hit by the vehicle. She hit him. He went to the hospital. A doctor did treat him. He went to the hospital, and I'm sure they got some doctor to, I don't know, give him an aspirin. He leaning into the vehicle that's turning away from him, he kind of bounced off it. Meanwhile, same day in Minneapolis, ICE agent runs somebody down, and there's footage of it. It's in the Discord somewhere. Guy bounces off the vehicle. So they're actually weaponizing their vehicles. They're actually running people down with them. Right? What is the advantage of holding back? And I'm not saying go full murder, of course, keep it nonviolent, but full force of the law, full force of the rhetoric. We can't even get these Democrats to talk about impeachment. They just quietly sit there. Every single day he commits crimes. They won't even use the word. Side note here, if you don't know this story, this Hampton Inn, which is owned by the Hilton Corporation, they refused to have ICE stay there. And it was like, oh, is Hilton standing up to the government? Is, is the oligarch Hilton family going to, push back against Donald Trump? No. It was just the owner of this hotel. And because apparently, it's a franchise, and they can only control so much of the operation there, they've shut the whole thing down. They've shut the whole thing down. So this is them, getting out there as quickly as possible to remove the logo. No, we support fascism. We support authoritarianism. Don't worry. We fully support Donald Trump's fascist agenda. ICE can stay at any Hilton hotel that they want to. So that's what we see here. Right. Come on, ICE. Stay here. We love it. So that's what we're seeing, where the hotel refused reservations of ICE agents. And they were saying, the main reason why they were refusing reservations because people were protesting, making lots of noise, disrupting their business in general, which kind of brings me to my next point, general strike. This is the answer. The pocketbook. We have to make the sacrifices. And it's like, I got a job, I got kids. It's like, we have to organize and we have to take care of the people participating in the strike. It's a whole thing you have to do to have a successful general strike, because people will get fired. Those people need to be taken care of, but it works. The second their pocketbook is affected, whoa. I mean, I wanted fascism, but not like this. I didn't know I was going to profit. I didn't know the profits were going to stop rolling in. I didn't know people were going to stop showing up to work. Whoa. I just support a fascist organization that's going to force people to work for pennies on the dollar until I can replace them with robots. What's the big deal? General strike is the answer, right? We hear people talking about no taxes. Yeah, that's good. That's nice. I like that. But general strike is the X factor. Is the bullet. Is the sniper bullet into the heart of fascism. A general strike. And we're actually running out of time to implement a general strike. They'll do what the Nazis did, and just make it illegal. Yeah, 200 a night. Yeah, it's these Hampton Inn, and you get some fucking. What's the breakfast in the morning you get from these places? Fucking dismal. But we're running out of time to actually fight back, because they're going to make fighting back illegal, like what we see in Russia. What happens to the group of activists who are organizing a general strike in Russia? What happens to them? They're literally sent to a slave labor camp in Siberia. They're disappeared. Dozens, hundreds. Boy, these guys, it's almost, is there some kind of bot problem on Kick, guys? What is happening? I can't believe it. It's like there's some kind of serious bot situation happening on Kick. That doesn't make any sense, because that would indicate that the people that are popular on Twitch are artificially bumping up their views. That can't be it. But back to what I was saying, right? What happens in China? What happens in Russia? What happens in North Korea? What happens in Afghanistan? What happens in, Iran until it's completely out of control? Until tens of millions of people are participating. They send your ass to the gulag. They send your ass to the Uyghur camps, re-education camps. Oh, you're not patriotic. You're working with a foreign government to subvert your great nation. In China, if you have the audacity to get in front of a camera and start talking about the actual state of the Chinese economy, the actual state of Chinese society, oh, your ass is done. Deleted, account deleted. You know what they're starting to do in China? Extract money from your bank account directly without any permission whatsoever. They don't give you a ticket, they just take the money, because they have that much control over your life. The government could just go to the bank, whatever your digital banking system is, whatever it is, and boop, there you go. And if you still don't shut up, if they do all those things and they still don't shut up, then your ass gets thrown away. In Russia, you hold up a blank sign, a piece of paper that says nothing on it. Gulag. Gulag. That's what they want here. That's what Stephen Miller wants here. That's what Pete Hegseth wants here. Yeah, Ice King. I mean, because their screens, their computers are being monitored. Any place where free speech can happen. Video games, social media, forums. They make VPNs illegal, so you can't access Tor networks. That's what they want here. People don't know how good they have it until it's fucking gone. And by the way, Keir Starmer seems to be headed in that direction as well. Fucking police state, Keir Starmer. So here is John Miller, who I think is a right-winger, chief law enforcement and intelligence analyst. So he's some fucking pro-government talking head. Talking about, well, I mean, it may or may not be justified, but it's, it actually goes against their own training. So you can see that the way that the officer acted in murdering that woman goes against what is actually supposed to be standard DHS training. Because like I said before, you can just track her down, pull her over a couple miles down the road, one cop, right? She drives away, she talks some shit, drives away, she's going to fucking McDonald's or something, one cop. Yeah, exactly, Blase. Hassan should be fucking embarrassed, but I don't know if he has the capability. And it really pains me to talk shit on Hassan because he's one of the few political streamers who had the nutsack to get out in the streets. But then he goes to China and does a fucking pro-China. I've said it a million times, but I'm so ashamed of Hassan. He has responsibilities, and you're either going to take them seriously or not. And every time he's like, oh, woe is me, where, what about me, me. I don't often hear him talking about the movement and how he has a responsibility to the movement. It's me. People are so unfair. They won't hang out with me anymore. And I did a propaganda tour in China. And now people don't like me. I shocked my dog and people don't like me anymore. Getting like Valkyrie and some other fucking streamer people to kind of, if you were my real friend, you'd defend me. If you were my real friend, you would you would help me lie my way through this. Instead of a mea culpa, instead of admitting that he's wrong. I just couldn't be more ashamed of Hassan right now. I really couldn't be. Maybe. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Open your mouth another time, Hassan. Let's see how much more embarrassing you can get. But that's my problem with him is that he's supposed to be representing us, whether he wants to acknowledge that or not. Oh, but he likes the attention on mainstream media. He likes the opportunity to interview AOC and other mainstream politicians. He likes that clout and likes to fundraise off that clout to personally enrich himself. But he doesn't want to have, I don't represent the movement. I don't have any, you don't have any responsibility. You can't put that on me. So he likes it. He likes it when the clout is benefiting him. And he could be like, oh, yeah, well, politicians, they come to me, and, blah, blah, blah. He likes that. But when he needs to correct his behavior and heaven forbid, apologize for making a mistake. No, I don't. No, I don't. Everyone hates me. Destiny doesn't like me. XQC doesn't like me. Oh, wait. Pathetic. Are you a man or not? So back to this fucking spook who, CNN, they'll never ask anybody worth a damn. They'll only ask fucking, think tanks, ex-CIA, ex-law enforcement. And what do they always do? Oh, well, ICE is really great, and I agree with everything ICE is doing, but, this was obviously not very good, and it clearly isn't good and stuff. But, oh, man, the mission and all their heroes, and blah, 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 all the way down to the fucking base.
We did this in New York in 1994, 95. We changed it in LAPD when I was there in 2004. But it's basically simple,
I'll answer your
which
question in a
is
sec.
if you're
Let's
confronted by a moving vehicle that could be a threat to you, get out of the way of the vehicle and don't shoot at a car. Now, this is DHS policy. I'm reading to you from DHS policy. DHS law enforcement officers are prohibited from discharging firearms at the operator of a moving vehicle or other conveyance unless the use of deadly force of the... Basically, it says, unless it's...
This appears to be black and white.
Well, it does. And it also says a law enforcement officer must take into consideration the hazards that may be posed to law enforcement and innocent bystanders by an out-of-control vehicle, which we just saw the result of that. The point is, unless the person is literally either using the vehicle to ram other people in a terrorist
to kill
attack,
people, yeah.
or has a car bomb, or is chasing you with the vehicle in particular, getting out of the way and reducing the tactical exigency where you're not creating a situation where you're forced to fire these shots is what most law enforcement agencies have adopted.
And very clear that that's what was there.
It's missing.
Right. So it's actually surprising to hear CNN, Aaron Burnett from CNN. Oh, and it was very clear on video that she was turning to the right. Very clearly she was not trying to run the guy down. Because usually it's CNN going, whoa, maybe, coulda, maybe. Oh, I don't know. We loop the video 1,000 times so that we get the views, but I don't know, man. I don't know. Don't believe your eyes or ears. That might piss off the administration. So this happened, during the event. We're seeing more of this, in places that are wintry and snowy. I showed you some footage, I think, from New York of ICE agents just getting fucking pelted. Now, this is borderline. You know me. I advocate nonviolent, direct political action. Snowballs, it's borderline. I don't want to sit here and say I fully support this, but, throwing stuff at the cops, I'm not going to judge the people doing it, but I will say that this fascist group of people will try to use this to their advantage, right? Well, there was rocks in there. Oh yeah, there was, the foreign objects getting thrown at us. It could be pillows. It could be cotton balls. And they could effectively use that against us. Gandhi didn't throw snowballs or salt, okay? Because they had a lot of salt, right? They weren't throwing shit at the cops. Then again, you see places like France, where they're doing a whole lot more than throwing snowballs. And there is an argument to be made about the government and law enforcement being scared of their constituents, of the people, and how that is a deterrent against authoritarianism. But it's a slippery slope. I'm not going to sit here and say it isn't. If this movement is truly going to succeed, we have to have resolve. We have to have iron-like resolve and restraint when it comes to this kind of stuff. So I'm not going to sit here and cheer this on and say this is great. But I will point out, we can't control everybody. And this organization over here committing cold-blooded murder, a snowball is not the biggest deal in the world. But with that said, I need to point out that the fascists will take advantage of everything, anything and everything. Right? We got, a couple Apple stores getting looted, one Wendy's getting burnt down, and all of a sudden the entire Black Lives Matter movement was Black Lives Riot. Now, but they're going to do it anyway. If not a single Wendy's had burnt down, if not a single Apple store was broken into, they still would have said the BLM movement was a riotous movement. Which is them being silly, right? Because if you're going to do that, then why not? Then why not riot? If you're going to call us rioters, why not riot? Yeah, BLM city burner. Yeah. They're going to do it anyway. So, obviously, I'm fence sitting on this. I'm being a bit of a coward on this. But I know in my heart of hearts that if this movement is going to succeed, it needs to be disciplined, and it does need to adhere to nonviolence as much as possible. Even though they will call us terrorists, they will call us violent, they will say we're riotous, even if not a single thing is hurt or broken or smashed or anything. They will still do that. They will still do that to us. And then you see the success of French protesting, and you're like, well, maybe there is something to it. So it's obviously I'm right on the fence there.
It looks as though there are some people, as you can see, throwing snowballs at some of these officials that are moving down towards what appears to be the scene. And I want to get a closer look here because it looks as though there may be, I don't know if it's a skirmish yet, or obviously
he gets fucking beamed, dude. He gets beamed.
Or obviously some kind of a... I don't know if it's a skirmish yet, or obviously some kind of a conflict. There's some exchange of words happening here. The snowballs keep flying there. It looks as though there's some news crews on the ground as well.
Right. So I'm going to be a bit of a pussy on this one and say, look, it's just because I know how people feel. I see situations like France and Nepal. And then I know how they're going to react. I know how they're going to twist it and turn it against us. But I also know that they're going to do that anyway. The best that we can do, and this is why I'm so ashamed in characters like Hassan, because Hassan will watch us and go, based. Oh, that's based. Oh, yeah, that's based. The best we can do is at least have our leaders of this movement. And yeah, unfortunately, Hassan would be considered one of the leaders of our movement, like it or not, and I don't like it. But the best we can do is have discipline with those people and say, hey, we're better than this. This strategically doesn't help us. My God, there really is a bot problem on that website. I shouldn't even bother with it. I'm like literally not even online. I'm like literally not even online. Okay, I know I keep pointing this out. But the best that we can do as a movement is demand a certain standard from our leaders. And we can't even get that from Hassan because he's too busy trying to be an edgy 14-year-old on the left still. He still wants everybody to think he's a fucking hip Zoomer. He's a just react to the song. It's probably the most garbage fucking like trap music you've ever heard in your life, right? But no, Hassan's too busy trying, he's almost a 40-year-old man if he isn't already. And it's just embarrassing that he's like Johnny Depp with all of his rings and jewelry and everything. And he wants the kids to find him hip. Act your age. Act your fucking age, Hassan. And like it or not, you're a leader in this movement and you got to come correct. Show some responsibility for this. Okay, All right, the fence sitting continues. I'm going to show you this video without interrupting it, and then I'm going to have some comments about it. Ponder Monkey, I seriously doubt that you would want to hang out with 20-somethings wearing, you know, jewelry and Gucci clothes, and, you know, you want to use the hip slang. 6'7", am I right? 6'7", am I right? I highly doubt you would embarrass yourself to that level. And that's where Hassan is at. He's not busting out the 6'7", but he wants to be a 20-something still. And it's like, motherfucker, you should be having kids. You should be getting married. You're the leader of a progressive leftist movement. You should be, you know, reading and keeping yourself up on this. And if you make a mistake, you should come correct and say, I fucked up. Yeah, I've been using a shock collar on my dog. I haven't been training. I haven't been training my dog correctly. I fucked up. Here's me throwing away the shock collar. I'm going to go to a dog training specialist because I'm a multimillionaire with nothing but time on my hands. I can easily afford it. I'm sorry. And what does he do? He acts like a 12-year-old caught, you know, with chocolate on his mouth, getting scolded about invading the cookie jar. I didn't do it. Soy facing over Mao's little red book. On to the next clip. Fuck Hassan right now, okay? On to the next clip. This went viral in the morning. We're gonna watch the clip. I'm not gonna pause it. We're just gonna watch it, and then I'm gonna comment on it.
Really, you fucking punk? That's what you're gonna fucking do? What? What? Do you know what the fuck is that is for? What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
You're gonna push me? What is that for?
Back up.
What was that
I
for?
don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck about
Back
her?
up. Bro.
This is why we're here.
Back up.
This is why we're here.
Back up.
What's her name? Renee Good?
Back up.
And you fucking, that's a memorial to her. That's a memorial to her. No, good. You're a fucking coward.
Fuck you guys.
You're a
You
piece
guys
of
are
shit.
Nazis.
You fucking proud
Shame
of
on
yourself?
you guys. Fucking shame on you
You're a
guys.
fucking punk. Really?
Go with your fuck.
That's what they fucking want to do. You're a little bitch.
Fuck you guys.
I'm that fucking badger and coward, you little
You
cock.
guys are going to hell.
Renee Good is a mother that is standing up for our rights and was murdered.
Right. I agree basically with everything that he said. I'd like to point out that this was done with severe malice. One more time, I'll show you here.
Really, you fucking punk?
Severe malice. And then it says, I don't give a fuck.
That's what you're gonna fucking do? What? So
he agreed, you know, police, not ICE. Minneapolis police here. Fully supporting ICE. Really likes getting barked around by people with his, you know, with his size gut. But I mean, cops have to go through all kinds of training. They got to know the laws. They got to, you know, they got to know the fucking the codes. You know, F-19, 317, right? So you got to go through actual work, a whole academy to be a cop, right? So you got to put in the work to wear that badge, and then some schmuck, some proud boy who couldn't get a security guard job gets to bark him around, and he loves it. And he fucking loves it. Okay?
Do you know what the fuck is that is for?
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Clearly malice.
Really, you fucking...
Look, and he doesn't even do all the candles. Just one. But, and I'm sorry, okay, realist fucking channel on Twitch. Realist fucking channel on Twitch. Maybe don't set up a memorial right in, you know, this is obviously an exit for the fucking cop shop. Right? This is obviously where the cops, you know, this is no public parking. It's probably like cops where they park their vehicles. Maybe not the best place to set up a memorial for this woman. Now, how should the cop have handled this, right? Because you can't do that. It's not smart. Chalk is one thing, all right? Chalk, whatever. You know, candles and things like that. And this is like an electric candle. It's not even flammable. How should the cop have handled it? He should have respectfully walked up to Mr. Hemp Sweater here. Hey, man, I'm sorry. De-escalate. I'm sorry. I have been ordered to remove... Jesus Christ, Kick. What a website. I'm sorry. I have been ordered to remove these items from this on-ramp, this entrance to the parking lot. I apologize. Could you please move them? Just move them to the sidewalk, just slightly over to the sidewalk. Okay? And it's so funny. He clearly doesn't give a shit. This is done in malice. That's how the cop should have handled it. Now, this guy, I doubt he would have been like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do that. Then what you do is you walk up to the objects while the other guy is giving you backup, while Mr. fucking Mustache Ride over here is giving you backup and holding this guy at bay. You carefully pick up the candles and you either move them to the side of the sidewalk or you hand them back to Mr. Hemp Sweater. You don't, he does everything except spit on them. Puh, puh, fuck that, bitch. Huh, I'm going to go watch some more Asmongold. R.I.P. bozo. So is he a piece of shit? Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Really, you fucking punk?
Those are my comments.
That's what you're gonna fucking do?
Those are my comments.
What?
He clearly just wants to start shit. Clearly.
What? Do you know what the fuck is that is for? What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
What is that for?
Back up.
You're gonna push me? What is that for?
Back up.
What was that for? You don't.
I don't give a fuck. He should be reprimanded. He should be demoted to desk work. Okay? They're not trained on de-escalation. This is the mentality of a soldier in an occupied land, not the mentality of a cop paid to protect and serve. This is a problem that's existed way before ICE even existed, before George Bush put it together. I mean, all the other cops know it too. The other cops know it.
Give a fuck about her?
Bro.
This is why we're here.
Back up.
This is why we're here.
Back up.
What's her name? Renee Good?
Back up.
And you fucking, that's a memorial to her. That's
right. But I will say Captain Crunch and his hemp sweater should maybe pick a better spot for the memorial. Realest fucking channel on Twitch. Not the best place to be putting flowers and candles. Okay? I understand the intention. Okay? Those are the things that I had to say about this clip. Guy is a piece of trash, no doubt about it. And clearly thinks it's really cool to fucking kill people. Like, is this even a driveway though? Like, this is some busted ass car over here. Like, is this even a parking lot? Look what's happening over here. Anyway. Oh my God. Serenity now. Someone save me. What is happening? The AI mod, it's crazy because like it's getting through to fucking restream. But there's like an AI mod that's killing these bot accounts. Okay. All right, let's keep it moving. The NYT just interviewed Trump. Here's what he said about Renee Nicole Good. Quote unquote, she behaved horribly. Lie. And then she ran him over. Lie. She didn't try to run him over. She ran him over. Lie. Lie. Welcome from south of Boston. It's your motherfucking boy, Lenny. Folks, make sure you're clicking like and follow on that Lenny. Get more Lenny in your life. Hashtag more Lenny. Finishing out the tweet here as from Republicans against Trump. Just drop. Stop being Republicans, you fucks. Stop even. What are you doing? Republicans against Trump? There's nothing to save. Your party is dead. Okay? Republicans against Trump are people, they like Dick Cheney. They like George Bush. It's your fucking fault. Your party has turned into this. I saw some Republican on mainstream news. Oh, no, it was Mike Pence. And he was asked, what do you think about the Heritage Foundation? And they're obviously fascistic. They didn't go into that direction, but that was implied that, hey, this incredibly fascistic group that, created Project 2025, which is the blueprint for the destruction of the American Constitution. What do you think about it? Oh, I love the Heritage Foundation. Oh, they were so instrumental in a lot of Republican victories. And oh, the Heritage Foundation, so great, so great. Drop the fucking moniker. Flush it down the drain. Republicans against Trump, they don't exist. You're a myth. You're a fucking ghost. Stop calling yourselves Republican. Accept that your party is dead. It's never coming back. Motherfucker over here nostalgic about Mitch McConnell and Mitt Romney. The same motherfuckers that sat down when Donald Trump stood up and said, shut the fuck up. And they did exactly as they're told. So stop fucking calling yourselves Republican against Trump. You're a fucking myth. As a slow motion surveillance video of the shooting played on the laptop, we told him that this angle did not appear to show an ICE officer had been run over. And this was Mr. Fuckhead's response over here. Well, the way I look at it, I think it's horrible to watch. No, I hate to see it. Implying that the ICE agent is the victim. He's not talking about, seeing this young woman shot in the face. Couldn't give a shit. This man rapes children. Just a quick reminder. This clown literally covered himself in makeup, rapes children. He will do or say anything if he thinks it's going to benefit him. In a way, he's the ideal American. He is every bad impulse. He is every wrong decision this country has ever made brought to life. Speaking of absolute garbage, Jesse Waters, this is what he had to say. Spent time talking about how she had pronouns in her bio. Leaves behind a lesbian partner and a child from a previous marriage because Republicans don't know anything about that. This is who they are, these hateful, hateful, hateful people. She was gay. Pronouns. I think I have it lined up here, but there's one clip here from this one right here, from this fucker right here. Whether it's Democrats putting their pronouns in email signatures or Republicans shooting and killing unarmed drivers, both sides have taken actions that the other side finds threatening. One of these things is not like the other. Okay? Being a little annoying about your gender identity is not the same as stone cold murder. It's not. They'll repeat it over and over and over again. They get their little idiots like XQC and Asmongold to repeat it over and over and over and over and over again. Jesse Waters, repeat it over and over. Be afraid, be afraid. These things are not the same. I saw this shit on Surrounded as well when Adam Mockler was on there. Oh, well, if you didn't call us fascist, we wouldn't be so fascist. If you didn't call us authoritarian, we wouldn't be so authoritarian. Bullshit. It's nothing but a simpleton's way to shut down discussion. Because if we're having a discussion about how horrible they are, about how authoritarian they are, well, we might actually have to do something about it. But if the discussion is, you're not allowed to use that language against us, what are we having a discussion about, right? Semantics. We're not reaching the logical conclusion of a real debate about what is and isn't morally right. We're having some safe debate about the definition of terms and words. Right where the fascists want us. Divided and conquered. So remember that. Next time some right-winger is trying to pull this shit, double down and triple down. You're not moral. You represent a fascist movement. Oh, you call me a fascist, that makes me more fascist. Fine. That doesn't change how bad you are. I will not be distracted. I will not be diverted away from calling you what you are. Anti-moral pieces of trash. Oh, well, I'm going to go rape some kids now. And that's somehow my fault? Oh, you called my president a pedophile. No, I'm going to vote. I'm going to be pro-child marriage and pro-child labor. That's my fault. Remind people that they are immoral. Double down, triple down, quadruple down. They will use, just like Sartre said, I know I've already said it once. They don't take language seriously. It's a game. They are a hammer looking for a nail. They have preconceived conclusions. Brown people bad. Brown people are the reason why my wife left me. Brown people are the reason why wages are down. All in the service of an oligarchy that they don't even see or acknowledge. I've heard people on the left say that using the term oligarchy is counterproductive to our movement. We should find a better way, because that's the solution, huh? Find a better way to identify the moneyed elite that actively try to change our government against us. Because that's what'll fix it. If we find a better word to define who these people are. What a crock of shit. Here's the reality. Source from the Anti-Defamation League, which are pro-genocide folks, right? Pro-Israel. Not exactly a bunch of left-wingers. In the U.S., 93% of extremist murders are from the far right. This is from 2005. You got some Islamists, smattering of left-wingers, and a grand majority of them right fucking wing. That's the reality. Who's the cancer on society? Who's the ones holding us back? Who's insisting that we wrap ourselves in chains and bootlick? Sagar. Sagar Antonetti wouldn't acknowledge this reality. He'd rather say you're just going to have to get used to gun violence and kids getting shot up. Just going to have to get used to it. There's nothing we can do about it. Why? Because the solution to the problem is to diminish his movement. All right, I'm dying. Okay, I got to see. Let me see this. All right, I'm just going to react. Let's do it. I want to hear how bad this is. SRT Saatchi Waki. Garbage. I knew it. Fart music. Trash. fucking derivative trash. Bunch of other people's ideas crammed together in some AI-generated nonsense. Motherfucker drinking lean out of a double cup. That shit was cool 20 years ago, okay? When the Birdman was doing it. When Lil Wayne was actually little. This is what you want me to react to? This?
Maybe once or twice. By once or twice, I mean maybe a couple of
Garbage. Garbage, dude. I listen to nursery rhymes all fucking day. Better than this. I'd rather listen to Wind the Bobbin Up 100 more times than 3 fucking seconds of this. Are you happy now? Can you please leave me alone, robots? Please? I reacted to it. It's trash, derivative garbage. I listen to real hip-hop. I listen to real fucking music. Hear that? Hear that cowbell? Hear that 808? Hear that fucking sample from the South? That's good shit. These motherfuckers drinking lean since before you were born, bitch! I want you to like it. I knew it was that too. I knew it was like fucking derivative, auto-tuned, fucking AI crap. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it was that mumble, and I actually don't mind mumble rap. I've heard some really, really good mumble rap, from the underground. Some really good shit. Some shit from Future, right? Pretty decent stuff. Kind of reminds me of like screamo metal, where the lyrics are not as important as kind of the aggression, right? And like, but it's just derivative, man. They're farting out some Casio beat and mumbling over it because you're high as hell. Uncreative, like everybody else's ideas, not a single original idea in the lyrics or visuals. Oh, you're driving a Benz with a double cup. Wow, no one's ever done that before. It's pathetic. What? Just give me one original idea, huh? One original idea. At least DaBaby wore a diaper. Right, so okay, I've already reported on that. Here's AOC. Yeah. Here's AOC calling it what it is, but not calling for the end of ICE. Okay, take the next step. You want it? I'll lend you a nutsack, AOC, if that's what you're missing. Okay, and it's great. She's saying this is a tyranny. She's saying this is murder. She's saying this is a crime. She's saying that individual needs to be arrested. Doesn't have the nutsack to call for the end of ICE. What is it going to take? What, do they just need to open up on a crowd and then it'll maybe be safe for you to say that this organization is cancer? Boo, I don't know. You know, her and her fucking consultants and her fucking team had a debate. Oh, maybe she wants to come out and say we should disband ICE. And her team's like, oh, I don't know. Yeah, we got to jockey for position in this political game. Oh, you got to be careful. Got to step carefully. Isn't that why we're here in the first place? Isn't that the entire source of weakness from this entire neoliberal Democrat organization? Tiptoeing around language. You got Keir Starmer, you got Mark Carney, you got fucking Merz in Germany, you got fucking what's-his-nuts in France. All of them tiptoeing, super careful about language. Oh no, my career. I thought you were better than this, AOC. And she is. Technically she is, right? You know, saying this stuff way better than Schumer, way better than fucking Hakeem Jeffries. I'll give that to her any day and twice on Sunday. I'll give that to her. But what's it going to take to say some common sense shit? Oh, you're going to lose votes? You're going to lose votes? Oh, people that support ICE totally support you, AOC. You know what I mean? Nobody that supports ICE's actions are supporting or voting for you in the first place. So who cares if you piss them off? Who cares if they think you're anti-cop, which they already do, by the way. They already consider you anti-cop. So it's a miscalculation and it's weakness. Call for the end of ICE. I know why Gavin Newsom isn't doing it. I am mystified as to why AOC isn't doing it. She just did a speech for Zoran Mamdani. And he's coming out and saying, you know, I'm going to instruct my police to enforce the law in New York. Basically saying I'm going to arrest ICE if they break the law. So you got nothing to lose. They're going to call you anti-cop. They're literally going to say that you called for the end of ICE anyway. Oh, well, I don't want to fall into their trap. You're in the mud pit. Okay? You're in the arena. Bro, react to this song. I loved it. It's a great song. Please leave me alone.
What we saw today was a criminal murder a woman and shoot her in the head.
Look at how careful she is with her language, by the way. Look at how careful she is. Tiptoeing around what to say and what not to say. And who's this guy, by the way? Who the fuck is this guy? How about you back the fuck up, dude?
While she was trying to escape and flee.
This is one of the consultants. This is the member of her team. They went over this. What's the language? What's the right language that I should use?
For her life. And I think what we saw today was a manifestation of every American's worst nightmare, which is their government turning into a tyranny.
Do you believe you should be arrested, the officer involved?
I think what we saw was a murder today, and I think that we need, of course.
You said that she was fleeing for her life. Do you know that she was fleeing?
So this, I understand. The response to this question, I kind of get, which is like, okay, like there hasn't been an investigation, you know, yada, yada, yada. It's my assumption that she was panicking. You know, I wasn't sitting in the car. I wasn't in the back seat, right? It's my assumption that she was panicking. And that's okay to say that. That's all right.
I think we saw this vehicle, and listen, part of a due process is to allow an investigation of what transpired and what occurred. I think what we saw was a woman trying to reverse her vehicle and leave a scene.
Right, and she said, this is what I think. This is my opinion on that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with hedging like that. Right, well, I wasn't there, you know. We should let the investigate. She should mention, though, that the people taking over the investigation, and maybe this was before the FBI announced that they were taking it over, are totally corrupt, literally currently covering up for a pedophile. Overtime, 1,000 employees, overtime hours. Donald Trump, Donald Trump raped this kid. Donald Trump raped that kid. Censor, 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 censor. So that's the organization that's taking over this investigation. Obviously, it's going to be a cover-up. Carry during work that clears them to continue service. Last time they got one was COVID something. Something big is around the corner. Interesting, Camel Tony. Interesting. You mean like mace? Not guns. Are you talking about like carrying mace or something? So here's the U.S. Department of something or other, U.S. Dole, Department of whatever. Labor, Department of Labor. Patriotism will prevail. America first always. So let me interpret this. Nationalism is more important than the Constitution. Sieg Heil. Always. America First is the new Sieg Heil. It's literally Nick Fuentes's, the name of Nick Fuentes's movement, who is an open Nazi. Open Nazi. Nick Fuentes. And what is the slogan for his movement? America First. America First doesn't mean Constitution first. It doesn't mean rule of law first. It doesn't mean citizens first. It means MAGA first. It means right-wing movement first. That's what it means. Saying America First represents all those things that I described is like saying the Nazis were socialists because they put socialist in their name. Ludicrous. Ludicrous. We all know it. Every historian worth a damn acknowledges it. Only pseudo-historians like Matt Walsh and Tucker Carlson try to play around with that shit. And Tucker Carlson doing it at the behest of fucking Russia, who wants to destroy this country. But don't believe the hype. And look, you got someone trying to make this argument that, oh, that's not what it means. America First means pro-Constitution, means rule of law. They're either useful idiots and they literally don't know what they're talking about, literally, and are just repeating what they're told because they're little tool bags. Or you got characters like Stephen Miller who are crypto-fascists. I don't hear that term too often anymore, but that's what these people are. What's a crypto-fascist? That is a fascist who knows they are a fascist, whose intention is to spread fascist ideology, and they strategize that the most efficient and best way to spread fascist ideology is to not be Elon Musk, is to hide your power level, don't Sieg Heil in public, don't get on a group chat and say Hitler is based, don't be Nick Fuentes and get in front of a camera and say Hitler had some great points. You hold those beliefs, and in a private setting, you go crazy with it and Sieg Heil all day in a private setting with no cameras, with fellow Nazis. But when you present yourself publicly, it's with a different persona, usually nationalism. So here we have the Department of Labor repeating crypto-fascism masquerading as nationalist pride, which is a very popular way for Nazis to spread their fucking fascism, is through nationalism. Red flag. Red fucking flag. And what is this flag, by the way? What is this? What is this? Is this the new American flag? Circle of stars?
Bump the tricks out.
They're a fascist movement. And the longer, that's the colonial one? Okay, yeah. I thought maybe that's what it was. I was going to say that, but I wasn't 100% certain. All right, that's it. I'm literally disconnecting Kick. I can't do it anymore. I'm just literally done. Okay, I'm just going to disconnect Kick on my restream. I'm officially done. They defeated me. You guys, you win. The bots win. They win. The fascists win again. So the colonial flag, the one that represented, what is it? Oh, it's right on the tip of my tongue. Represented, God damn it! Right on the tip of my tongue. It'll come to me. But it represents, colonialism. Represents, killing those who get in the way, stealing what, stealing everything. No, it's when people say they had, a right, a divine right to take the land from the American Indians, Oh, what is the term? It's right on the tip of my tongue. Manifest destiny. Thank you. That you got it. Boom. Manifest destiny. Thank you, everybody. Sorry. I swear to God, I'm still sober. I'm just actually this dumb. I'm just literally this stupid. But it represents manifest destiny, which is basically religious bigots who said, it's exactly what we're seeing in Israel right now with Palestine. Oh, it's ours. We're inherently better. We're inherently better. We're inherently more holy. That makes us inherently more moral. We get to rape and pillage because it's divine. It's God says we can do this. And this is coming directly from the government. Lebensraum. I know I'm not saying that correctly. I know I've seen that term. Once again, too stupid. But it basically says, because we're white and we're Christian, we get to do whatever we want. And if we rape, pillage, and kill, it's in the name of, it's for a greater holy project that we're totally justified in doing. That's what this flag represents. Manifest destiny, colonialism, rape and pillage, steal, steal, steal. And God not only gives you a break, God gives you the thumbs up. That's your mission. So after the murder, Bovino wasn't done. So Bovino goes, kills, him and his crew of mafia thugs, kill a woman. They clean up the crime scene, cause a riot over there, and then with big smiles on their face, maybe go into some Mexican, restaurant before they do this, head on over to a high school to harass students and staff. So an official from Roosevelt High School in Minneapolis told NPR News that armed U.S. Border Patrol officers came into school property during dismissal, so, kids getting off school, Wednesday, and began tackling people. They handcuffed 2 staff members and released chemical weapons on bystanders. And Bovino, there's pictures of Bovino with a big smile on his face holding a tear gas canister. Couldn't fucking wait to tear gas your kids. Kills a mother of 3. And then tra-da-la-da-la, had a busy day. Busy. We got appointments to hit. We got more people to traumatize. Got to go after the kids next. It's intentional. Yeah, student debt. No, we wouldn't be Canada. Who knows? We might be British. We might be French. Might be Mexican. I don't know. If we didn't, who knows what direction we would be in. And I'm not justifying it, right? I think we should acknowledge. I'm okay with land, theft acknowledgments, even though it's a little silly looking. But we got to do more than that. We got to do reparations for the American tribes that we slaughtered. But that's a whole different story. It's too late now, right? We can't roll back the clock, and we can't ethnically cleanse. We can't ethnically cleanse, entire states and neighborhoods to rectify the crimes that our forefathers committed. We can cut some checks, though. Right? We can take a little bit from Jeff Bezos and hand it over to an American Indian family. Right? The 9th or 10th level descendants of the people that were slaughtered. We can cut some checks. Not that fucking difficult. Anyway, so after Bovino's done murdering a woman, he heads on over. I agree, student debt. I've talked about reparations for the descendants of slaves as well. Not that hard. Not that hard to cut a check. And what, we're worried about this? We got Elon Musk talking about UBI. you know, the robots are going to take all the jobs. So we can talk about UBI if it's going to benefit the tech sector, but we can't talk about reparations, money that's going to go right back into the fucking economy. What do you think they're going to save it? And I'm not being racist. I'm just saying poor people don't save money. So I'm talking about American Indians and you know, black folks and stuff like that. Oh, well, what if we give reparations to a rich black person? Who fucking cares? It's my personal belief that when it comes to slave reparations, we should be giving reparations for the amount of time that we held slaves. So there's like 120 years or something that, you know, slavery existed in the United States. That's how long the period of reparation should be for black folks. And it should come directly out of Elon Musk's pocket, directly out of Jeff Bezos's pocket, etc. With an extra special fuck you to Mr. Wonderful. He's got to pay extra for reparations just for being an asshole. Oh no, poor people are going to spend money in the economy. Someone call the cops. And we should do the same thing for American Indians, descendants of American Indians. Imagine if the colonizers were so filthy they killed 90% of the population with disease, they would never have won against the full force of Turtle Island. Yeah, no. Rich people need to start giving back. They need to start giving back. And they're not going to do it, you know, they're not going to volunteer it. They need to be forced. MSC was traded for a mineral and oil-rich Dutch Guyana. Damn, the invasion of ICC, The Hague, is imminent. No, it isn't imminent, and that's a problem. And this goes back to step one of the three-step program, right? Inform ourselves. Because if more people were informed on history, they would understand the necessity and purpose of international law and how we should be demanding it. You know, and demanding it, demanding AOC and demanding every politician that needs our vote to respect and enforce international law. I shouldn't call out AOC on that too much because I believe she did say we should arrest Benjamin Netanyahu if he comes to our country, right? Because he's a war criminal. But you get my point, right? We the people, it's not going to happen unless we the people. And look, it's all but destroyed. It's all but destroyed right now. You're seeing debates on LBC about, like, does it even exist? No, it wasn't LBC. It was a France 24 clip that I put in the Discord. A debate, just a straight up debate about, okay, international law exists technically, but is it relevant? No, it isn't. There's no enforcement. And the neoliberal, supposedly liberal, supposedly democratic governments across the world are okay with that. Oh, okay, well, we can enforce that if we don't like the person, but if we do like the person, then we can ignore international law, right? Barack Obama his ass should be going to The Hague, sitting right next to George Bush. Yeah, I said it. Jimmy Carter should at the very least have been investigated by The Hague. Joe Biden, Donald Trump, obviously. But it's the thing that has eroded international law since the Nazis were tried is it's okay for my enemy to be tried, but it's not okay for my side to be tried. And the people allowed that to happen. Right? They said, oh, my team shouldn't have to deal with international law, but their team should have to deal with international law. And that's what's gotten us here, right? So anyway, this is ICE traumatizing children at a high school.
Oh!
Hey. I love how you're not supposed to shoot these tear gas canisters directly in people's faces. But these guys aren't trained. They think it's a Call of Duty lobby and they can't fucking wait to pull the trigger. So this is like the third time I've seen footage of these fat slobs aiming for the head and getting headshots with these projectile weapons, projectile chemical weapons. Watch this. Look at that. Look at that. Runs up. He's the double XP. He's got the Mountain Dew double XP coupon over here. Running up on children. Headshotting with projecting. You could blind somebody. You can fucking hit them in the head with that canister and kill them, which has happened, or like they, now they got to deal with severe health problems for the rest of their life because they got beamed in the head by a fucking, because have you seen these canisters? They're like metal cans. Imagine getting beamed in the head with a soup can coming out of a fucking grenade launcher. Oh! What you're supposed to do is shoot at the ground, okay? Or shoot up as in an arc, right? To kind of lob it into crowds. Achievement unlocked. Blinded a high school student. But what you're supposed to do is shoot at the ground or lob it in the air. Not run up on a kid, on a high school student, and try to headshot one-handed, like you're a cowboy. They can't fucking wait to kill people indiscriminately. They can't wait. And Stephen Miller can't wait to tell them to do it.
Hey.
These bitch ass niggas, bro.
That was a grenade. That was a tear gas grenade. Damn.
So there's Bovino right here. I assume a teacher, maybe the principal of the school, going right to Bovino. What the hell are you doing? What the fuck are you doing? He's like, it's okay. I'm just creating chaos. Just trying to create a situation where people escalate so that we could use further deadly violence against you. That's all. No biggie. Big smile. The guy can't help himself. He's in hog fucking heaven, rock fucking hard, telling his fucking goon squad to shoot high schoolers in the face with chemical weapons for now.
I don't want you guys to get hurt. Oh yeah, better tackle that in football, bitch. Guys, don't antagonize them.
So, and then here's the teacher trying to de-escalate, doing what ICE and police don't do, saying like, don't give them that opportunity, guys. You got it. They're looking for this. They're looking to hurt you. They want the excuse. Don't give it to them.
Don't antagonize them. They literally just killed someone. We're killing you.
They literally just killed someone. She's all right. Props to her. Okay, she's not trying to suppress the leftist movement. She's trying to prevent children from getting killed or injured or arrested, which is her job. That's her job as a teacher. She's doing her job to the utmost. That's a hero right there. Okay? That's the only adult in the goddamn room right here. Well, she's got colored hair. Oh, I bet she's got they, them pronouns. Bovino should have shot her square in the head. I'm Asmongold, and I like to jerk myself off to frozen garbage. I don't know. I'm sorry. I don't know. I got to come up with better insults.
Fuck you! Guys, let's fuck you! You guys are fucking murderers!
You guys gotta go.
I think she said, I love you, you gotta go. She's trying to protect the kids. She's trying to protect the kids. Asmund Mold, yeah. It's really mask off situation. Twitter is a Nazi website that supports Nazi ideology. I was thinking like, frozen like garbage in the shape of a dildo in the freezer, and it just didn't come out right. I'm not good at this. What is the frozen garbage wearing? It's wearing a toddler clothing. Don't try to tell me Asmongold isn't a fucking PDF. I know, Lenny. It's just I messed it up. But the garbage would be wearing some kind of toddler pajamas or something. Don't try to tell me he's not a PDF. Asmongold. I'm convinced. If he isn't, his fucking viewers are. Can't unthink that now. Sorry. Sorry. So back over here. Yeah, I know I'm banned. Thank you, Reddit. Appreciate it. Thanks so much. You're permanently banned. How dare you say Barack Obama dropped drone bombs? I know. Thank you, Reddit. They did me a huge favor because I'm no longer wasting my time commenting, and it kept my algorithm. So I can I don't like this, get rid of this sports crap, get rid of this celebrity crap. I don't like this, and it keeps my algorithm. I can still like and downvote for some reason. And I'm not allowed to comment, so I save a bunch of time not having arguments with a bunch of fucking idiots on Reddit. So it's literally, thank you, Reddit. You literally did me a favor, literally. So thank you so much. It's I never want this to change. This is great. But no, back to this, back to what I was saying. It's a fascist movement. And we've got Elon Musk, literally, they're back in good graces with Trump. He's doing dinners, talking about how we got to beat him in the midterms, et cetera, et cetera. Great replacement theory. Nonsense, right? If white men become a minority, we will be slaughtered. Right? Because that's what they say about Africa. I think South Africa is where they try to pass that lie. White farmers are slaughtered every single day. Not true. Not true. Remember, if non-whites openly hate white men while white men hold a collective majority, they will be 1,000 times more hostile and cruel. They, as in black people, right? So this view, basically, black people are inherently bad. Colored people of color are inherently bad. People of color inherently hate white people. And that if given the chance, people of color, if they're a majority in some place, they will waste no time in slaughtering all the whites. This is what Israelis say about Palestinians. This is what white South Africans say about, they're a minority in there, they own a good chunk of the land, but they're demographically a minority, and this is how they justify apartheid. There you go, Seneca. Thank you. You guys trying to save me in the chat? No, there's no saving me. That was a bad insult. And Elon Musk, 100%, 100%. And it's inherently racist. It's an inherently racist point of view. To the people of color that work at Tesla, to the people of color who work at X.com, to the people of color who work at SpaceX, and any company that Elon Musk owns, quit. Okay? Stop working there. Everyone should quit, right? But especially people of color should stop working for open and proud white nationalist, great replacement Nazi, Sieg Heil Nazi, Elon Musk. Okay? Stop. He hates you. He thinks you're inherently inferior. You could be Vivek Ramaswamy over here and I give white guys blowjobs all day. Does not matter. They hate you. And the moment it's politically and socially acceptable, it's right back to lynching. And I'm not even being hyperbolic. It's right back to the lynchings. It's right back to create an apartheid state. It's right back to enslavement. They don't consider you human. They don't. Elon Musk, when he sees a person of color in his head, it's nothing but bigotry and racism. Right? He's like, oh, I hope, I don't want a black person to make my food. I don't want a black person to fly my plane. I don't want a black person to be my dentist. Oh, if Elon Musk needs blood, he's thinking, is that blood from a black person? It doesn't just stop at the cartoonish Zeke Heiling. They want to go all the way. They want to go all the fucking way. What does that mean? Like I said, bring it all back. Apartheid, slavery, bring it all back. And by the way, after they've achieved that, it doesn't even stop at the people of color, because then, meanwhile, poor people and liberals, anybody to the left, right, as we saw with Nazi Germany, wasn't just, I'm using the wrong term here, but gypsy, right? It wasn't just them. Wasn't just gay people, wasn't just trans people. It was communists, it was anarchists, it was anybody. Wasn't just the Jews. White, Christian, landowning, or enriched. Those are the only people that deserve citizenship in their eyes. Ask Peter Thiel. Ask the psychopath who owns Palantir. Right? Get them in a room alone. Get a couple drinks in them, and you'll hear some of the most racist, eugenics shit you've ever heard in your life. They're parasites. They want to kill us all. I'm superior. White people are generally superior in every way. Our women are better, right? They say all that shit. And this is what he wants to do to our country. The country that has become the most powerful country on planet Earth because of our embrace of diversity, because of our embrace of the immigrant, and being this melting pot where people of intelligence and hardworking people of all different shapes and sizes and colors come together. One of the only places where that was like the stated, rule of the land, the law of the land. And we became powerful because of that. And they want to wreck it all. They want to make us weak, emaciated, incestuous, deviants, just like they are. And that's somehow supposed to, a whole country of Stephen Millers and Nick Fuenteses and Elon Musks, and that's somehow supposed to make us strong. All you need to do is spend an afternoon with these individuals to know how vain and petty and pathetic they are. Elon Musk, one of the most pathetic human beings on planet Earth. He's got all the money, he's got all the fame, he's got all the attention, all the political power. Miserable. Only deriving pleasure from the pain of others. So there you go. Even fascists couldn't avoid Nazi Germany's purity tests. The Austro-fascists in the concentration camps because they didn't want to join up Austria with Germany. So they were too nationalist for Austria. And that's how it is with fascism. It's not like communism, right? Where like communism is a political ideology where, if done in a certain way, it could benefit mankind. Fascism is inherently self-destructive. It's a cancer. It's a cancer on all societies. There's no redeeming qualities to fascism. It's ignorance and bigotry personified into a pseudo, religious belief. And you know what's crazy, Clutch Cargo, about Fuentes? I heard this last year. But demographic analysis of Nick Fuentes' audience It's like primarily like people of color and black dudes who want to be white. Can't make this shit up, dude. You can't make this shit up. So, like, you know, Fuentes and Vivek Ramaswamy and the Sagar Enginettis are the fucking first to go. Stephen Miller doesn't give a fuck about them. Thank you for your service. You know, if you're lucky, here's the gulag. If you're lucky, here's the work camp. Oh, we did you a favor, Vivek. We got you into a really nice work camp. You get one hot meal a day. You only have to work 14 hours a day, and you get free time the rest of the day. How about that, huh? Oh, thank you so much. Licking boots. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. And this is Sam Stein, who I recognize the name, but I can't really picture what his body of work is, but I recognize the name. But he says, we are in real trouble, and this is 100% accurate. They're not fucking around. They're not playing, and they're not going to stop. Like I said, they're not going to have a come to Jesus moment. They see a woman get shot in the face, and they fucking cheer. They go, yep, great. R.I.P. Bozo, is what Asmund Gold said. Just disgusting, abhorrent, anti-human, anti-moral behavior. Immoral behavior. That's who these people are. And yes, a good majority of them are pedophiles. That's just a fact. You don't really have to spend a lot of time on Twitter to find that out. But if you were to subject yourself to right-wing people and hang out in their circles, it comes up. It comes up. The hell is this? So, never cared about law and order. Republicans shut down investigation of ICE shooting. So they're already covering it up. This is a Substack, I think, yeah, by Janet Nance, who's a trans person, looks like. Right. So this is, editorial. You could consider this to be an editorial. But they're already covering it up. FBI is taking over the investigation, and we're not going to get justice. Renee's not going to get justice unless we, the people, make it happen. So I think that's all the ICE stuff I have today. We'll be doing more ICE stuff on Saturday. Real quick on the Venezuela stuff. Yeah, Kash Patel took over the investigation, and he's going to squash it. He's already working overtime to protect Donald Trump, a known pedophile. There's no lower. Anything else, he's like, oh yeah, no problem. Oh, this is easy. No, maybe I do have some moral qualms about you being a pedophile, sir. Yeah, maybe that's, kind of tough for me to do. But, covering up a murder? Oh, thank God. Woo! No problem. Oh, it was a leftist? Oh, yeah, no, Antifa did it. It was Trende Aragua. She was, pronouns in the bio. Oh, yeah, no, horrible scum of the earth. Absolutely, no problem. We'll cover this up for you. No problem, sir. No qualms whatsoever. Not a problem. Oh, yeah, Clutch Cargo. Oh, yeah. I mean, ironically, we were post-truth way before AI. But that really cements it. And it's happening on both sides as well. There was an AI, I put it in the Discord, but there's this AI compilation of the killer without a mask, and it filled in the blanks, but that's not who he really was. That's not what he really looks like. So I'm not even sure if we have an actual photo of the killer without a mask on. Over to Venezuela here. Here's our great leader. Yeah, it's horrifying, no doubt. I have just been informed that Venezuela is going to be purchasing only American-made products. So, you know, he always does this preemptively. Has one meeting with somebody from Venezuela. Maybe it was that vice president that took over. Maybe it wasn't. But he has, like, you know, like before anything is even solidified or anything. I did it. I'm the greatest. It's the best ever. It's all done. Deal completed. I mean, he's done this like literally dozens of times, you know, this taco, right? So now he's saying Venezuela is going to purchase only American-made products with the money they received from our new oil deal. And by the way, he's announced that the oil that he's stealing from Venezuela is going to go into a foreign slush fund that he controls. That not even the U.S. government, I think it's like Donald Trump's family. And he's trying to say, this is going to benefit the Venezuelan people and the American people. It's literally stealing money from another country, putting that shit directly in his own fucking pocket. And he's like, it's going to help everybody. You're going to love it. What do we make again? Child pornography? I don't know. These purchases will include, among other things, American agricultural products. So all the soybeans that we can no longer sell, you know, all the corn that's going nowhere. You ready, Brad? Godspeed. See you on the other side. Hey, Camel Tony. I'll see you out there in the fucking streets. Because that's where we need to be. 3-step program. American-made medicines, medical devices, and equipment to improve Venezuela's electric grid and energy facilities. He's talking about literally subsidizing the oil companies' construction of infrastructure. He's trying to sweeten the deal for the oil companies. You won't have to spend a dime. I'll make these American suckers pay for your oil pumps and pay for your buildings and pay for everything. And then you privatize all the profit. I'm the greatest deal maker ever when I have everyone else's money to spend. Welcome back, Crail. In other words, Venezuela is committing to doing business with the United States of America as their principal partner. Where's the proof? Where's the agreement? Where's the announcement from the VP? A wise choice and a very good thing for the people of Venezuela and the United States. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I'm going to go have sex with my daughter. Don't believe a fucking word of it. Who knows how much of this is true? Who knows how much of this will actually happen? I mean, there's like a incredibly tense situation happening right now on the ground in Venezuela. I need to report more on it, obviously, but you know, he's like, it's all done. We did it. We kidnapped the president, and now we're good to go. It's not even close to being good to go. Not even fucking close. So now we're making deals, huh? So U.S. will control Venezuela oil sales indefinitely, official says. There's no. You got to put boots on the ground to do that. There's not a single boot on the fucking ground except for the CIA. Okay.
Like this.
We have the Chauvinistas, the Bolivarian revolution over there, trying to play both sides, trying to placate the people, and trying to placate the United States. So they're telling the United States anything that they want to hear, and they're telling a bunch of lies to the Venezuelan people. And meanwhile, being like fucking hard ass on the streets, with a bunch of sandal wearing mercenaries running around opening up fire on fucking vehicles, kicking down people's doors and shit. The U.S. will control sales of sanctioned Venezuelan oil indefinitely as it prepares to roll back restrictions on the country's crude oil and global markets, the White House said. So, they do have the embargo, they do have the ability to stop the ships. But China and Russia, and I assume some other interests, are going to start using their military to back these ships up None of this is solidified. None of this is guaranteed. No fucking boots on the ground. Not even to, occupy the specific areas where oil is being pumped or anything. Yeah, there was one incident where Russia backed down for now. They probably don't have much of a navy to back up the fucking oil tankers, do they? Good job, Ukraine. Officials said sales were expected to start with 30 million to 50 million barrels of oil, and the revenue would be controlled by the U.S. government in order to maintain clout. U.S. government or Donald Trump? Am I incorrect? It was my assumption that this was going into offshore accounts controlled directly by the Trump administration, not by America, not by Congress, not by any kind of independent body of any kind. It was my assumption that these are going right into bank accounts controlled by Trump. Yes, this is how democracy dies, to roaring applause. Quote, we need to have the leverage and control of these oil sales to drive the changes that simply must happen in Venezuela. And by the way, is this refined oil or is this unrefined oil? Because if this is unrefined oil, it's literally oil that's, going to be at a loss. Oil right now is at $60 a barrel, roughly. To make a profit from this incredibly thick, dirty oil needs to be around $80 a barrel for you to even cover the cost of refining it and then selling it, and then you can make a profit. So, and by the way, 30 to 50 million barrels, maybe that sounds like a lot. That's actually not a lot. That's not a lot. That's like how, let me ask the fucking robot here real quick. No, thank you. I wonder how many barrels of oil it's going to cost me to do this. How many barrels of oil does the U.S. use in a day? So there you go. About 20 million barrels a day. And we're supposed to be stoked that he's stolen 30 to 50 million barrels? 2 to 3 days worth of oil? Of crude that he can't even afford to refine? None of this makes any fucking sense. None of this makes a lick of fucking sense. Of course, that's Donald Trump. That's fucking Donald Trump. From what I've heard, U.S. refineries are already to max input levels so they can refine it anyway. At a loss? Oil companies doing something? Losing money? What? A barrel of oil is 42 gallons. Okay. It's not clear what portion of the revenue from the sale, which analysts expect to raise about $2.8 billion, would be shared with Venezuela. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, professional liar, said that the two sides had struck a deal. Venezuela's state-run oil company, PDVSA, said in a statement that negotiations over oil sales were ongoing within framework that exists between the two countries. This process is based on similar rules for those enforced with international companies, it said. So, as part of the plan, U.S. is preparing to selectively roll back sanctions, which have restricted sales of Venezuelan crude for decades. We're going to let that oil flow. Right, told the that wasn't Trump, but I just did it anyway. For a conference alongside energy executives in Miami, he added that the money would then flow back into Venezuela. Shut the fuck up. Eating the dog. Wrong button. Don't make me fucking laugh. Oh yeah, it's going right back into Venezuela. Fuck right off. If they see a penny, if they see 1%, I'll be surprised. We're not stealing anyone's oil. He added later, yeah, if you have to say that, you're stealing the oil. In which he said the administration's first priority for the funds was to stabilize the country's economy. Yeah, what a crock. So yeah, Chevron's gonna make out like a bandit on this one. Analysts said that in the short term, U.S. oil firm Chevron and U.S. oil refineries, which are set up to process the kind of heavy crude that is characteristic of Venezuela's output, are well placed to benefit from the increased flow of oil from Venezuela. Okay, all right. Chevron is the last major U.S. oil firm operating in Venezuela, though some other European firms have outposts there. The redirection of Venezuelan oil to the U.S. could put pressure on Mexico and Canada, which produce similar crude and are currently the main sellers of U.S. refineries. So if I'm reading this correctly, the 30 to 50 million barrels it's refined. It's refined. They have the facilities there. And this is getting refined at Chevron facilities and then exported. The redirection of Venezuelan oil to the U.S. could put pressure on Mexico and Canada. Apparently Russia as well, which is bizarre. I thought Russia had its own sources of oil, which produce similar crude and are currently the main sellers to U.S. refineries. So this is going to hurt the Mexico and Canadian oil markets. Gee, Mark Carney, are you super stoked now about sucking Trump's trode? Huh? Are we super? That was super good idea, huh, Mark Carney, for being a little bitch and trying to make deals with Donald Trump. Instead of standing up firm, elbows up. How about elbows up your own ass, Mark? Oil prices, which are already relatively low amidst steady supply and muted demand expectations, slipped further over the last week on the prospect that Venezuela might have increased access to the global market. But analysts have warned that meaningful expansion of the country's output will take years and billions of dollars in investment, which firms may hesitate to undertake given less risky opportunities in the U.S. and other countries such as Ghana? Yeah, so here's the thing. Oil companies aren't going to invest billions of dollars, even if it's billions of American dollars, on a maybe. Donald Trump could croak tomorrow, and then all of this falls apart. Right? So it's going to benefit Chevron, who are already there, already operating. But he's like, I've talked to the oil companies. Everyone's down. It's super great. Hell, he was talking to the fucking oil companies before he was telling Congress what was going on. And he's like, it's all good. Everyone loves me. They said it's all good. And like, they're not going to be investing billions of dollars on a maybe. Eventually, though, I mean, these are cold-hearted fucks. We're talking about oil company executives, right? So it's going to take some coaxing. But Donald Trump is happy to use your money, your resources to make it happen. All right, we don't have time for this trade deficit stuff. Real quick before I got to go, I'm going to be talking more about Iran. I think Iran and Ukraine might be the first things, unless ICE kills more people, and I have to talk about it. But I think they're going to be first in line for the Saturday stream. But here's some images coming out of Iran. Shit is popping. Millions of people are marching in the streets. And they're doing shit like this. Burning images of the Ayatollah in protest. No headscarf, no hijab. Burning an image of the great, mighty religious leader who could never be wrong, the direct voice of God, the Ayatollah. Ah! And this, am I allowed to say she's extremely sexy? Am I allowed to do that? No, I'm not. Okay, I'm sorry. This incredibly respectfully looking woman, I'm looking respectfully, is a total fucking badass, lighting her cigarette with a lit picture of the Ayatollah. This one too, I guess it's a social media thing. Women uprise should happen in Russia also. Bless them. Well, and as we've seen in Iran, like, it can happen if there's enough people. It can happen if there's enough people. Iran's doing all the same kind of shit that Russia's doing with the media, locking everything down, arresting people, killing people, disappearing people. But they can't kill us all. Can't kill them all. This has been a long time coming, but the water situation has really been a catalyst here. The only tool, at the end of the day, the only tool an authoritarian regime has is more violence. So that's what I'm expecting. More violence, more oppression, more brutality. making public displays. That's all they're going to have. That's it. They can't even give people clean water. All right, we'll do some NATO talk as well on Saturday. I won't be able to stream tomorrow. I know. Hate me all day. Hate me. Big boy already secured a ticket to Moscow. Yeah, no doubt. He's hitting up his buddy Vladimir. No doubt about it. No doubt about that. All right, folks. Big props to every single big dick, big clit motherfucker in the chat. I'm nothing without you. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for your contributions to the chat. You make this stream what it is. A place of information, a place of discussion, a place where real motherfuckers, regulators, can strategize and talk about how they're going to fix this world instead of wallowing in melancholy and self-doubt and self-hatred, nihilism. Instead of that, we become stronger. We become stronger following the 3-step program to create political change, because that's what we're here for. Nonviolent, direct political action. How do we achieve that? Step 1, we inform ourselves. Step 2, we sign up and show up using resources like the big list of protests, the BLOP. And then step 3, we put in the fucking work. We become the elephant in the room. We make shit awkward. We stand on principle and morals. Because it was motherfuckers just like us 100 years ago that got us here. And it'll be that same mentality that gets us out of this. Nonviolent direct political action is the only thing that's ever worked. Ask Martin Luther King. Ask Gandhi. Ask the Zoomers in Nepal. Ask them real motherfuckers in South Korea. And maybe even ask the Iranian people. It's not perfect. It's sloppy. It's dangerous. It's scary. But so is oppression. So is fascism. So is authoritarianism. So is tyranny. I'm going to die on my fucking feet. That means I'm going to die knowing that I was morally correct in this battle against the oligarchy, against fascists, racists, and scumbags like Asmongold. Pathetic, ill-informed, disgusting bigots like Asmongold has the audacity to think that he's better than anybody. He isn't better than the fucking dirt I walk on. At least you can plant a fucking tree in some dirt and get some fruit. So peace in that motherfucking Middle East. Glory to the Ukrainian democracy. Free Palestine. And take care of yourselves out there. I'll see you on Saturday. Keeping it real as always. I'm Abandoned Nihilism, and this has been the News Underground. Individual props will come on Saturday. You guys fucking rule. Thank you. Gotta go pick up my kid from daycare. Have a good one. Take care of yourself. Stand on that shit. Stand on principle. Stand on morality. Thank you, everybody. Get that frog suit on. I'll see you on the front lines. Elbows up, Mark Carney. Elbows up. Posing ass bitch. neoliberal motherfucker Mark Carney. I'm gonna die on my fucking feet. I'm gonna die on my fucking feet. They're not gonna put chains on me. Thank you, everybody.